Multiverse of Movies epic pre-game show. It's game day, everybody. Game day, everyone. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Multiverse of Movie Show. My name is Isaac, and I'm, of course, your host. As every day, we have a guest backstage right now. But before I start off, I do want to give you guys my thoughts. First of all, we have this special. I know to the people listening on Spotify, you guys aren't seeing this, but we have this special red vibe to it. I even have my Batman shirt, which looks really good on with the red light. I think this aesthetic looks well. I had to brighten up my computer just so that there can be light on me, because look, this is what it looks like without the computer lights. It's just all dark. This kind of looks like, the first clip we ever saw of Batman. But I do need you guys to still be able to see me. But it is our Batman pregame show. This is the final time us as fans discuss the Batman in depth before the movie comes out. Now, we have already some comments. We have Alex here. Let's go. By the way, I'm going to go watch it with Alex tomorrow at the AMC IMAX for our early screening. This has been the movie I've been most excited for the last since like 2018, even before Matt Reeves ever came onto the project. Matt Reeves was the main thing that got me excited, especially because I love the Planet of the Apes films. But I was already excited prior, even with the Ben Affleck version. And then when the teaser came, it shocked me. I was excited already to see Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz, Paul Dano, Andy Serkis, all of them come together to see what they do with this film. What can they accomplish? Let me see. Kamazu B says, "Hi, what's up, Kama? Nice use of red. Thank you, man." And then Alex says, "Definitely love the red." Yeah, this is going to be like a one-time aesthetic. I do think I want to start using the LED lights more often to kind of paint a vibe. But I'm gonna give you guys one piece of news and give you guys my thoughts, why I'm excited, and then I'm gonna bring on our guest. But I do want to emphasize. So I said I was gonna give away this Batman Funko Pop to all the members. Now, by the way, I forgot to say this, but the membership program, it is only 99 cents a month to help support the channel. And it helps us financially. But if you want to join, you can join right now. There's a button that says join, but we are doing this giveaway now. I'm going to announce it when we do our open spoiler discussion. Now, when is our open to spoiler discussion, you may ask? Well, it's actually going to be on Monday, next Monday, because I do want to give people the weekend to watch the movie, and then that day we are going to announce the winner of this. I was planning on it today, but I feel like today we got to focus only on what we expect, because we're also going to talk about prior Batmans in history. We're going to talk about, why is this movie so anticipated? And as you guys see in the pregame show, there's so much to look forward to. First, I'm going to say the main things why I'm looking forward to it, and then explain specifics of the movie, things that the trailers have excited me. There's many things. So first of all, you guys know Batman is my favorite character of all time. My favorite fictional character. I've loved the Michael Keaton iteration. I liked Christian Bale's version of it. I liked Ben Affleck's version of the Caped Crusader. And Robert Pattinson seems like he's gonna be great. Val Kilmer. I actually like Val Kilmer's Bruce Wayne. I like his Bruce Wayne. I'm not a big fan of his Batman, but I'm a fan of Val Kilmer's Bruce Wayne persona. Not a fan of George Clooney, but and also Alex is straight out of the movie non-spoiler review. Hey, you know what? Alex, if you want it, like right when we get out of the movie, I don't know, we'll go somewhere and we do like a quick reaction, quick like out of theater review. But you guys know Batman's been my favorite character of all time. I grew up with the Batman animated series, with the Justice League animated series. I grew up with Batman in general. I grew up loving the character of the Batman. Batman has always been my childhood hero. I know, when I was younger, my favorite was Spider-Man, and then the older I got, the more I ended up loving Batman. I've loved many versions of him, and anytime a Batman movie comes out, it is a very special day for me because I love the character. Um, And while Ben Affleck's my favorite live action depiction of the character, I'm excited to see what Robert Pattinson does, because the trailers, even before the trailers, I was excited for Pattinson because we all know Pattinson was labeled as Twilight Boy. People weren't trusting it because obviously most people only know him from Twilight. I already knew him from The Lighthouse, Tenet, a lot of other great films. Pattinson's talented. But the main thing why I was excited was mainly for Matt Reeves himself, because Matt Reeves, he did the Planet of the Apes trilogy. I love that trilogy. And then he did Cloverfield, I believe, the very first Cloverfield. I love that Cloverfield film, and I love Matt Reeves' filmmaking. So I'm excited to see what he does. Seeing the trailers, the Nirvana music, the usage of the red colors, everything, Riddler feeling like the Zodiac killer. We're also going to read some reviews, but the reviews so far have been nothing but spectacular. A lot of people are loving it. One of the reactions I was surprised at was somebody said the Riddler is actually crazy, kind of in the sense of Jim Carrey's version, except the only difference is Jim Carrey was not terrifying. He was more just laugh. He was funny crazy, while Paul Dano's version. So this is what I've heard. What they said was Paul Dano's version was more horrifying, scary. Like they're every time he pops up on screen, he's scary. A lot of people are loving it. The detective noir style of filmmaking. And one of my criticisms of live action Batman has always been how little of detective work we ever got, and this includes the Ben Affleck version, because one of my favorite things about Batman was the whole detective vibe, the whole detectiveness. I mean, he's literally known as the world's greatest detective, and it was always fascinating how he rarely got, like in The Dark Knight. There's a quick scene where he's analyzing the bullet, and he's using his detective skills, but that's really the only time. Ben Affleck, I think the only scene we ever get him doing his detective work was in Batman versus Superman when he's at the Lex Luthor party. That scene, there's a scene where he's like trying to, what was it he was trying, oh, I think he was trying to get information from Lex Luthor, although he fails in that because Wonder Woman eventually takes it, Diana does. And I like how the trailers have been nothing but comparing um how how this Batman is possibly everyone's favorite Batman, or is gonna be everyone's favorite Batman. I've seen so many good reviews, and there's just so much to look forward to for this film. I cannot wait to be in that IMAX theater tomorrow in less than 24 hours. I cannot believe we are that close for 2 years, because I actually recently rewatched the first teaser for the Batman from DC Fandom back in 2020, and I learned that apparently that trailer dropped in August of 2020. That feels like such a long time ago. And even prior to that, there was that little cool clip of Robert Pattinson's Batman walking, and you see like the red, and you're dun dun. Dun. I am so excited for this film. But enough about me. Let's ask our guest today, SSJK Dots. How are you doing, SSJK Dots?
Man, you know me. I'm just here to push my narrative and destroy this Batman movie. You know, I don't
Oh
I don't
yeah,
like the presence in DC right now. I'm just here to destroy it. So ask me whatever you want, man. Because I'm just gonna destroy it. You know me.
yeah. I'm so disappointed because I saw so many people saying, this if we have to have this movie fail because it'll restore the Snyderverse. Look, I forgot to bring that up, and thank you for reminding me. Um,
Well, not real quick. Not even them. I think just people in general. Like it wasn't just like not trying to say it's just Snyderverse people. Like it was part of it, but I remember before this movie's coming out, people was like downplaying like Batman, like forgetting who Batman was, like what he did to the comic book movie genre, like the first superhero to make a
yeah,
billion in like over time Spider-Man movies have made a billion, but like he made a billion all by himself with Joker in one movie. It didn't take multiple movies for him to become a $1 billion character, being a $1 billion character in like one movie alone. You know, a
yeah.
lot.
Batman.
There was a lot of people downplaying the Batman and just the character in general, and they forget that he's pretty much just as popular as someone like a Spider-Man.
I believe there's even a statistic that says that Batman like as a solo character has in history, like comics, movies, cartoons, anything. I think there's a statistic that says he's the most profitable fictional character of all time,
Oh
which
yeah,
I haven't read that in a
I
while,
would
but
even
yeah,
disagree with that. You know, like him inspired. When people say they're the most profitable, they are like
yeah,
merch, references, parades, all that stuff. Like you have to factor in like how much they promoted this character, how much he's talked about in like the references he is to in other movies, whether it be little, somebody can, you know, like somebody could just refer to somebody as Batman in another movie. It may not be Batman, but maybe, for like a joke, let's, someone could just refer to somebody going like, "Oh, you think you Batman or something?" Okay, like those little things, references,
yeah.
all that stuff. So it's, popularize these characters, especially Batman.
Yeah, and he's also a very generational character. You've had the Adam West version, you had Michael Keaton, kids from the 90s, 80s, 70s. They've all had their Batman, whether it's comics, the animated series. And I do think he is more generational than even somebody like Spider Man, especially when it comes to movies, because he has been in the presence longer. And anytime there's new Batman, the whole world's going to watch, anticipate. And especially with the casting of Pattinson, people they still see him as Twilight Boy. I've seen him in
Yeah,
other
yeah.
films. He's talented. He's great, and even in the trailers, dude looks great. The attention to detail and everything. I cannot wait to see Pattinson's version. But I forgot to ask you, Estes, what is your favorite version of the character? It doesn't have to be live action. It can be anything really. But what's your
I think
favorite?
at the moment, my favorite version is the Arkham games Batman. I look at him as like
Oh yeah, I forgot to
the
bring that up.
I look at him as like the definitive Kevin Conroy Batman, since they're both the same. It's like the modern day Kevin Conroy Batman.
Hmm.
Animated series would have been like my first, but Arkham Batman is like overall the best Batman for me. Got the best armor, the best gadgets, um, best original story of Batman too. Like, they're based off comics, but it's a more so original story. Like Arkham
Yeah.
Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Knight. While Arkham Knight did have his issues, Jason Todd being the Arkham Knight, it was so obvious, but it was still like a original Batman story.
Yeah, I forgot to bring that up. Thank you for reminding me. The games I need to replay them. I haven't played them in a while. But one thing I also liked about the Pattinson Batman is I think you could say he's the closest to the Kevin Conroy feel, like with his suit, the way he speaks, everything. And it
Yeah,
seems like
like I see him going towards like a Arkham type of Batman in the future. Like his suit is gonna get way more high tech over time.
yeah,
And by the time he gets third film, he's gonna have this like Arkham Knight type of Batman suit, just like full, like a definitive suit.
yeah. And one little detail I like is in the clip where he punches Commissioner Gordon when he's running away from the cops and he's about to go up, like instead of using the stairs, like in the sleeve of his armor, a grappling hook just pops out,
Yeah,
and he uses that.
that was
And
like
I like the attention to details, and he's even going to use these contact lens to help him fight crime and all that. There's so many, like even one little detail I like is Batman in movies when he takes off his mask, his hair's all nice combed. There's no black makeup, whatever that's called. But you see Pattinson. There's a scene in the first teaser trailer where he takes off that mask and his hair's all messy. His You see the black eyeliner, and I like the little details. To me, makes it better. But I'm gonna try pulling up Rotten Tomatoes because currently it is at a 87%. Let's see if it pops up. Yeah, there it is. There's 166 reviews, 87%. I'm gonna try reading some of them. I'm going to try reading the positive and the negative ones. This one from Glenn Weldon says, what it does do quite effectively is tell a solid Batman story with the most soulful and vulnerable Batman to ever grace the big screen, and that much at least is new." And the next one from Christy Lemire: "In Matt Reeves' confident hands, everything is breathtakingly alive and new." And then the Batman doesn't quite rise above its I don't know how to pronounce that genre in the way that it maybe hopes to, but when it stays street level, it's tantalizingly creepy mystery anchored by Robert Pattinson's eerie take on the Cape Crusader. A lot of these reviews look good. I actually want to read one of the negatives ones because I've actually yet to read a negative review. This one
Got
from
to be fair to
Stephanie.
the negative ones too.
Yeah, I gotta read both. I can't be biased, although it is my favorite character. Um, but this one says the Batman emerges from a movie universe now becoming ubiquitous or a phony funeral. Wait, wait, I think they misspell spell funeral, or is that a different word? Uh, I think that is a funeral. I don't know. Worldview is the only thing that can confer depth. And this other negative one from Adam Graham says the Batman certainly mirrors the dismal state of the world today. Any breaks from the dreariness will have to come at a different bat time on a different bat channel. They're not really big, like they seem like they have problems with it, but they don't seem to hate it. So that's also another interesting thing. Here's another negative one from Tenia. It says performances were emotional and raw in the Batman, but you're gonna get a very broody Batman that never smiles. The Batman is not kid friendly for younger ones. Oh yeah, I heard this today. In the UK, apparently, if you're under the age of 15, you can't even watch it with an adult. So that's another interesting thing to think about. But let me try seeing some of the comments. Spidey Boy Gaming YouTube says, hello, what's up, Spidey Boy? And then Hamlet says, fancy critic words. I'll admit this right now. I'm very bad at pronouncing certain words, as you can see. Then Alex says, I can't wait to see the fight choreography. That's also another thing. So one thing I criticize from a lot of movies. This used to be a bigger problem back in like early 2010s. But one of the problems is there was a lot of shaky cam, and I cannot stand shaky cam. Like in Snake Eyes, even in Snake Eyes, there's this one scene. I don't want to spoil it too much, but there's a female character who she's just walking, and the camera's just shaking and shaking, and there's no action happening. And I hate shaky cam. Just show me the action. And I love how in the
I was when I walked out of Captain, that was one of my big critiques of Captain Marvel because I was like, if you remember that first fight when she's escaping from the Skrull ship, and like, I'm thinking, oh shoot, we might maybe get some good action in this movie, and I'm watching it, the action's all shaky, and I'm like, oh, they obviously don't have a good stunt team because they had a good stunt team and a good camera crew. They wouldn't hide so much of the action. Because
yeah,
there's a reason they do that. They just don't do the shaky cam stuff for like the effect of it. They do it because they don't have the right team that can pull off what they need to pull off.
Yeah, and it always disappoints me even more when it's a big blockbuster expensive movie because
Right.
you would think that with a budget that big, you could at least get some decent choreography. And one thing I loved about the trailer so far is there's no shake, like especially the one where he says I'm vengeance. In that scene, he's punching and beating a guy down. And typically in an average blockbuster film what you'll see is they'll pin away from the person and they'll
Yeah.
show maybe you punching or they'll shake the camera. But one thing I love about Matt Reeves is he just has the tripod still. And I gotta say, already the choreography team, I don't know how they make that look so real, but that looks really good. And yeah, that's another thing that I'm
That's why, and
excited for.
also I said like directors and the action crew teams who done like the movies like Old Boy, The Raid. These Hollywood films need to start hiring those teams to
Yeah,
come direct these action sequences because it's like even in the superhero movies, like even the Marvel and DC ones, like I feel like we kind of get they kind of hold back on us with the action scenes. Like I can
yeah.
go watch something like The Raid, and like I feel like they don't hold back. Like when I watch James Bond Aquaman and the way his action crew recorded those action sequences, I was like, this is how you
Mhm.
record action sequences in a superhero movie, especially if it's a character who's stationary, not a character who flies and stuff, but like Aquaman, who's not going to be flying around a lot, but you have the camera panning around, you're catching all the angles of the fight, everything. That's how I want to see action done in superhero movies and stuff.
And to me, it also paints confidence. To me, when you don't shake the camera too much, it paints this feeling of, oh, they have a good choreography team and they want to show you the action.
Right.
That's something the trailers have done. But what's up, Rhea? Welcome to the stream. And then Tony Robinson says, "What's up?" And let's see what the other comments. Camus says, "I hope it's there. Some long takes. Yeah, me too." And then Alex says, I remember reading an article that the Batman will have the same person who choreographed the John Wick movies. I don't even know how I mispronounced that, but
Hey, the
that sounds
last time they
interesting.
said that was for Birds of Prey, and guess what happened? The action wasn't that good.
I liked it. I won't say it's anything special, but I liked it for what it was. I especially that prison fight.
I like the
Um,
prison fight. That's probably the only action sequence I do like from the movie was that prison fight.
yeah. The
Go,
only
go,
criticism
come
I
get
have
your
from that,
powers, man.
the only criticism I have for that action scene was, why is one guy they're just coming up like they're taking turns?
Yeah.
Wouldn't the smart thing be just attack her all at once? Left, right, front, backwards. That would have been so much smart. But oh well.
That's why a
Um,
lot of good, like the Asian, like if you remember, you seen Old Boy.
yeah,
Remember the hallway fight? Like
yeah.
it was so crowded that all of them was attacking, but they were like it felt realistic because like let's say you're one person, 50 people are trying to come and attack you in a hallway, very crowded, and you can get a couple hits in because they're crowded
Hmm.
and they're falling back, they're getting up, you get a chance to strike. It's like it depends on the setting, location. Like I think in the hallway fight with Daredevil, I think it was a pretty organic fight. It wasn't just like people waiting one at a time, like the last Jedi fight in Throne Room. People waiting one at a time, waiting their turn. It flowed like a real fight should.
Yeah. And I really hope after the Batman comes out, more people look at the Batman and think, hey, that's how we should do action. Or maybe not as good. Obviously, not everyone's gonna have the budget. But I'm gonna try finding some reviews on Twitter. All right, so let's share screen again because for some reason I clicked out. And here it is. IGN says Matt Reeves' violent, thrilling, darkly beautiful take on the Batman more than justifies its place in the franchise's canon. 10 out of 10. That's a pretty good review. Then that's Jeffrey Wright. Okay, so Eric Davis says I've seen the Batman and his ferocious detective drama, punctuated by moments of incredibly visceral action. Matt Reeves' direction is dark, deep, intense, and flooded with instantly iconic imagery. A live-action Batman movie, unlike any you've seen, brilliant and badass. Big recommend. There's so many good
Hey, so
reviews.
far, one criticism I'm glad I'm not hearing is people saying, "Where does this movie take place in the DC universe?" I'm glad I'm not seeing that criticism because that gives me hope that people would know this is a multiverse movie and this isn't like the main universe.
Yeah,
That's
you
one
know,
good thing I'm not hearing right now because it's like pretty obvious that this is not like set in the DCEU and stuff.
yeah, it's interesting. And one other interesting I see a lot of reviews saying that you see this movie's like 90% Pattinson in the Batman suit and like 10% as Bruce Wayne. In my
Which is
theory,
really good. I
yeah,
love hearing that. That's good. I want to see more Batman in the suit the whole movie. Like a lot of
yeah,
super movies, they need to give us that. Like the superhero in the suit, like majority of the movie.
yeah. A lot of times in movies, especially superhero ones, you'll have the character for some reason take off their mask, even if they're like. I noticed
And
this.
No Way Home. No Way Home kept doing that at the end. Toby
Yeah,
and Andrew kept on taking off their masks. Like I get it, you guys want to be in the camera, but why do you keep on taking off your mask?
yeah. They were like fighting, and I don't know how many times, but they took it off. I was like, is it that uncomfortable? It's like you've been wearing this forever. We know you use the mask, but I also noticed it in Peacemaker. Where it's Freddie Stroma. I think that's the name of a vigilante. I
Yeah,
noticed in the first half he wore his mask even when he was with the team. But then like in the second half, he never
he
has
just
his
kind of
mask
stopped
on.
caring. Yeah.
Yeah, especially this one scene that I love Peacemaker, but there's this one scene where the cops they're coming for Peacemaker. And you would think that he would quickly put on his mask, especially in front of the police who we know he has an arrest warrant. But yet he never puts it on.
Yeah.
I mean, at least he was lucky enough that there was a butterfly there that eventually invaded them, or invaded the one lady. But you see that a lot in movies, and I like hearing that, and especially with Batman, most of the times they do that so that you could see their facial expressions, and especially with Spider-Man, you can't really see because actors they're best when you can see their eyes, their mouth, everything, and with Batman's mask, you can still see that. You can still see his eyes, his mouth, his nose, even his chin. So with
Right,
Batman,
and
you can
and
get
it's
away with it.
like well, going back to well, and also in No Way Home, I also had issue with like them not giving Green Goblin helmet because I know they want to show off William Defoe's face, but if you go back to Spider-Man 1, like he was acting his ass off with that helmet on the whole movie, like sleep, Spider-Man sleep.
And
He
every
was
time,
bro, he was like going he was going in. It's like you didn't even need to see his face to know like, oh my gosh, he's giving a scary performance under that helmet.
yeah, and every time I rewatch it, I always look closely at Goblin's eyes, and you can still see Willem Dafoe's doing facial expressions, and
Yeah.
that adds like you would think that under that suit you wouldn't care. And this also comes with Tom Hardy's Bane in Dark Knight Rises. I love how you can still see his facial expressions, even though only his eyes are visible. Like you can see his eyes widen, his eyes go left, and yeah, and like
Like
comic
he's
book
making
movies, they
sure to
do
show
that a
off
lot.
some range of emotions and stuff. Like if he's curious about something, if he's perplexed, it was like when he was in the room with the guy, like oh, so now you feel in control.
And he just like put his like hand on his shoulder and not even like grabbing it. He just had it like this, and that's one of the biggest power moves. It was
Yeah,
really funny. And then Camus says, "I offered you friendship, and you spat on my face."
I
I
want
love Green Goblin, especially in
that on my face.
yeah, and especially in I love him in both movies, but I do love how they highlight in No Way Home that he is probably the most evil villain in all Spider-Man, in all the live action Spider-Man movies, and I would even say in the comics and all that.
Yeah,
And I like how he was the main guy, and he is the one who screwed over Tom's version, by killing Aunt May. And I just I love the scene when he becomes Goblin for the first time, and Doc Ock is like, "Hey Norman," is like Norman's on sabbatical, and I love Willem Dafoe's so talented, and a lot of people want to fan cast him as Joker, but I love him even as Goblin. I even love him in Aquaman as what's his name, Volko.
okay.
But let me try reading more reviews.
I just hope
Um,
he gets to do more as Voco in the next movie.
yeah, yeah, it's. I remember when I first saw Defoe in Aquaman. The whole time I'm thinking like, even though I think he did great with what he did, I feel like he had very little scenes, or not very little scenes, but not too much acting to do in those scenes.
Yeah, he did a lot of talking. I just think he needed like that one action, just one good action sequence for him. They were like,
Yeah,
"Yo, Voco's dude." I mean, yeah, he was kicking Aquaman's ass when he was training him and stuff, but like an action sequence where they get attacked and he has to like go in and be Voco.
yeah, and I also like that one scene in the Snyder Cut. He had very, very little scenes, but I love that one quick scene where he like picks up the trident and he's like
Take
telling
up your
Aquaman.
mother's trident.
Yeah, and even in just that quick scene, Defoe's acting came into the spotlight, and I love that. And then Camus says, "I may have struck the blow, but you are the one that killed her." He has a lot of iconic lines. Well, I'm trying to remember one. What was
I
it?
may have struck the blow, but you are the one that killed her.
He did a great impersonation. What was the one? He's what is it? Strong. Okay, that I remember. Strong enough to have it all, too weak to take it. That's probably my favorite one in No Way Home. And then we have Derpy Gaming. He says, "I'm seeing it tomorrow. Yay! I cannot wait for tomorrow. In just 24 hours, I'm gonna watch it." I forgot to ask you, SSJ, when are you planning on seeing the Batman?
I'm watching it tomorrow night at 7 before work. Hopefully the movie finishes. Hopefully the movie finishes before I gotta get to work, so I'm not late. But that's the
Yeah.
plan. That's when I want to watch it before I go to work. I
Oh,
don't
and
care if
I
I'm a
forgot.
little late. I don't care if I'm a little late, but I'm gonna watch it tomorrow for work.
Yeah,
I just wish the showing was like an hour earlier. It says 7 p.m.
yeah. I actually wish that was earlier. But forgot to say this. I think this is kind of obvious now, but to everyone watching, we're not gonna go live tomorrow because around this, I'm gonna be watching around this time. But I do wish. So I think I leave work at like 6:30. I get home like at 6:30 from work, and I only have like 30 minutes to prepare the stream and all that. But I'm gonna go watch it at 7 p.m. So I'm gonna have to go into as a rush. to the theater, so that's gonna be frustrating. But especially because there's always traffic when I get out. But I'm either way, I'm excited to see it on IMAX. I I I just cannot wait. It's the movie I've been most anticipated for like the last 2 3 years.
2 years, yeah.
Yeah, especially when that teaser came out. Also, there's not a lot of reviews I'm seeing. Either that or I just put the wrong hashtag. Let's.
Is your theater like full, or is there like some open seats still?
No, it's completely full. So when I first got so Alex, who's in the chat right now, so he actually told me about them. I think like an hour before they came out, and I was surprised I didn't know about them. And so I think around 11:01, I go on the AMC site, and a lot of the seats were already taken. So I didn't get the middle ones, but I got them right next to the middle.
Yeah.
I always like getting the middle row at the exact middle spot, but I only got them a little. And then I think like 20 minutes later, I go to check it, and it was already completely full. Um, it's it's crazy to see how much love there is for Batman. I wish I was able to watch No Way Home on IMAX the first time I saw it. I only got to see it on standard, but the second time I did watch it on IMAX. But I am thank you. But I forgot to say this, but thank you to Alex, because he's the one who let me know ahead of time. Because if he hadn't let me know, I'd probably be watching it on Thursday. Oh yeah, I forgot to ask you. SS, is your theater also uh completely packed?
Heck yeah. The site
Yeah.
crashed like, well, the site that it almost crashed. It crashed a little bit. My ticket was having issues loading up for the specific seats I was gonna get. So I had to refresh twice. Seats was like disappearing, and then
Mhm.
I was able to get a back row seat
Yeah.
that I always want to get.
A lot of people are going on Tuesday. So for the people who are gonna wait till Thursday, all I'll say this is just be careful where you go on social media, because just remember, for No Way Home in the UK, the people in the UK spoiled it everywhere. And I remember I almost got spoiled. I actually, that for like 2 days in a row, I avoided even going on YouTube, because one time I went and it showed me one quick spoiler. Now the good thing is it wasn't a major spoiler; it was a small spoiler. But I'm someone who likes going into a movie without knowing, especially because I'm hearing that there's a big mystery. There's like a big major thing in the movie that gets unraveled, and I really wonder what it is. But let's see what other comments we got. Um, my showing is at 9 p.m. upstate on a Tuesday side. Oh, by the way, S is he'll be back in a bit. So uh, let's see next comment. 9 p.m. That's like I'm already so one thing I criticize AMC all the time is AMC, their ads, they take forever. They take like 40 minutes. I remember when I went to go watch No Way Home on my second screening on an IMAX theater, I literally counted. I think my screening was like at 9 a.m. And I'm looking at I'm not, it wasn't my watch, it was my phone, but I pretend to do this, but at my phone, and it's like 8:40. I mean, not 8:40, 9:40, and the movie still hadn't begun, and I'm looking like, what the heck? Like, why does it take so long? Like, people are there for them. I get having commercials, I get having trailers, but one thing that also frustrated me, and this is actually a reason why I probably ended up hating Moonfall more than I should have, but Moonfall, they had two trailers for Moonfall. Two trailers, not one, two trailers for Moonfall. Now there were different ones, but it was the same movie. And it frustrates me that AMC does that every time I go to AMC. AMC to me is my favorite theater in the world. I've gone to Cinemark, I've gone to Regal, I've gone to other brands, but to me AMC is the best. But I hate that they do that. Cinemark also takes long, Regal also takes long, but nowhere near the level that AMC has. But yeah, let's see. Let's start catching up to some comments. I got a 1 hour and 30-minute drive to the theater. Dang, hope it's good. Got shirt ready too. Hey man, that's awesome. I'm clearly gonna take this shirt. I also have this other one that just shows the Batman like logo itself. Um, but gonna take this shirt. I'm excited. And hey man, that is real dedication. Shout out to you, Derpy Gaming. I hope you end up enjoying the Batman, because that 1 hour and 30-minute drive, I guess it's worth it. I guess it's worth it. Mine is sold out too. I think all of them are sold out, especially Tuesday, the early fan screening. Because over here, where I'm from, only AMC is gonna play it on IMAX that on Tuesday. And I even tried looking. I was like, all right, let's look at an hour radius from all the theaters. Because there's like a Cinemark, like 10. There's a Cinemark that's only like a 2-minute drive from the AMC that I go to. Um, but they're all close. And I tried looking, and Cinemark will have one for Wednesday, or at least the one near me. And then there's a Regal near me that's only gonna have on Wednesday. So this AMC one in my local area is the only one close by. Sold. Kamazu B says, "Do you think Riddler will die?" I'm gonna make a prediction. I keep forget. I haven't made a prediction yet today, but my prediction is Riddler will not die. He's gonna survive at the end. And you're probably wondering, well, isn't he gonna reveal Bruce Wayne's identity? I don't think he will, because remember, in the comics and every other story, Riddler never ever reveals Batman's identity, because he one of the things Riddler says is one of the things that Riddler always says is a riddle that's already solved is practically useless. But then Derpy Gaming says, I got a 1 hour, 30-minute drive to the theater. I hope it's good. I got my shirt ready too. Wait a minute. I just read that. Oh, wait, you put it in twice. Let's go back to full screen. The Batman for 4DX. That is awesome, dude. I'm gonna go to an IMAX, but yeah, I have already gone the Batman 4DX ticket. Oh, by the way, I forgot to say, always remember says this. But that is awesome, dude. I hope all of you guys see it. By the way, I forgot to say this, or well, I said it earlier, but now that there's a little more people, my Batman open spoilers discussion is not going to be live until next Monday. Now, I'm going to do a review. I'm going to do an out of the theater review tomorrow, and on Wednesday, I'm going to have a more in depth non spoiler review. But then next Monday, we're also going to announce the winner of the giveaway. All the members who are supporting the channel financially for 99 cents a month. I'm going to be announcing the winner next Monday. So you still have this entire week if you want to join. And again, we do have a membership program. It is only 99 cents a month. You can join anytime you want. But this week we are doing a special Batman Funko Pop giveaway. But hey, I'm glad you guys are watching it. You guys let me know, when are y'all watching it. I know most of y'all always remember Camu, Derpy Gaming. Most of you guys are watching it tomorrow. SS is also watching it tomorrow. Most people are watching it tomorrow. I also know a couple people who aren't like all my closest friends are not going to be watching it on, so they're going to rely on my review. But yeah, Kamu says 40 minutes of ads. I would have walked out of the theater, dude. I would have too, but I love IMAX, so I just stayed. But that is frustrating. Like AMC, look, the theater business in the last 2 years hit a big falling, which is, obviously the pandemic, COVID-19 affected the theater industry. Streaming is on the rise. All of this is happening, and yet you decide to put 40-minute ads. Come on. And the thing that annoys me is that some of them are for AMC. Like they're ads for AMC saying, "Come join." It's not even just AMC. What's that membership called? AMC AMC what is it? I cannot remember what it's called, but AMC has this like membership that I'm in. Oh, and SS is back. What's up, SS? Um, but I forgot what the thing is called. I'm even on the membership, but they even have like they have ads of that, but they also have ads of
AMC subs.
AMC. Yeah, and it's like I'm already at the AMC theater. What do you think I'm doing? It's like, just show me. I get trailers and all that, but you got to limit it to at least 20 minutes, because people are there for the movie. Not only that, but when people watch a
Yeah, them
movie.
trailers are too long. They need a. Well, instead of doing it after the set time, they set, like, say you movies at 7.
Mhm.
They'll play the trailers. They play trailers before we get in there, like, because usually people walk in like in the first 10, 20 minutes before 7, or maybe
Mhm.
10 minutes. I play it 10 minutes before 7, and by the time those 10 minutes are up, the trailers will be good. They're done. And we can start the movie.
Oh crap! Did I just freeze? All right, so I'm back. That was weird. I just froze for a while. This is 4 minutes of it. Yeah, that's one thing that, and especially because going to the movies isn't just a financial thing. It's also a scheduling thing.
Yeah.
And most people, when they have a movie at 7 p.m., you're expected to watch a movie at 7. It's like when you go to work. If let's say you got to go to work at 9 a.m., your boss expects you to be there at 9 a.m.
Hmm.
And movies are the same. When you go there, and especially like parents, because a lot of parents will like drop off their kids at a certain time or something like that, and they'll probably tell the babysitter, "Hey, I'm gonna be back at this time." But when you will watch a movie and they show you like 30 to 40 minute ads, it's like not everyone has the time to spend that much time, and especially with the Batman 3 hours long. They know there are movies like No Way Home, the Batman, that are much longer than the average film, but it's
Yeah.
annoying to see that AMC goes that route. I remember the only time that I went to a movie without that many ads is when Tenet came out, and with Tenet there was only like two trailers, and they were for movies that weren't getting a lot. Like there was this one Liam Neeson film that came out back in 2020. I cannot remember the name of it, but there were movies that weren't getting a lot of ads for it. But I remember that was probably the best time because there was only two trailers, and then that was it. And there was a quick little ad saying "Welcome back to the movies." But I love that. I wish we could go back to that. And then Derpy says, "My shirt is with the Riddler question mark with Batman face saying
Yeah.
to the
And look,
Batman."
I'll say this much. That COVID and theater stuff, that stuff doesn't
Hmm.
matter no more. As long as you keep your movies exclusively in theaters,
Yeah.
you're going to make profit. If you try to do same day release, which nobody is doing anymore,
Hmm.
but it was a test run. They saw it was only profitable for streaming, not theaters. But you know, Batman's gonna make great money. I'm still holding on to it making a billion. I'm still holding on to that.
I think it's possible. I would say that I think I said this in a stream a couple months before No Way Home came out. I said the only movie the only movie that could come close to No Way Home's number, because my prediction was No Way Home during the pandemic era would be the best, most profitable film. I said the only one I expect to be as close, or well, I also said Multiverse Madness, but I said the second place in that list would probably be the Batman. And I'll even say this: I don't think the Batman will make more than No Way Home, but I wouldn't bet on it either.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm
I
glad
think
you
I'll
brought.
make. I'll go as far as it making the first Black Panther. That's as far as I'll
Yeah,
go.
and I'm glad you brought up the streaming. I hate that Warner Brothers last year decided to screw over their filmmakers and decided to put all the films on streaming. Now I'm glad they tested it out. I didn't like how they went about it because I know a lot of the filmmakers, including Denis Villeneuve, didn't actually know about it until they announced it.
Yeah,
But
Jason Kalara should have set up something with them beforehand. He just did it. I was like, that's something I didn't agree with. Like, I wasn't against same day release because
mhm,
I wasn't really wasn't too fond of trying to go to the theaters, and a lot of the movies that did come out that year I watched at home. And
mhm.
so I appreciate it was cool for that, but like they did screw over them people. And Jason Clark could have just sat down with them and said, "Hey, let's do this. Figure out who wants to do same day release and who doesn't. And if nobody doesn't want to do same day release, then don't do it. Just stick with theaters. Just hope for the best."
Yeah, I understand people, because at the end of the day, the only person that can be blamed are Warner Brothers themselves for their stupid decision. What I also hated that they didn't tell Village Road, who they did the Matrix movie, and they also didn't tell Legendary Pictures for Godzilla vs Kong. The people who put the finances for the movie, they didn't even know until like 10 minutes before the they announced it, which is so stupid because they're the ones paying for the movie. It's like you would think that at least a day or a couple weeks ago you would have told them.
Yeah,
And what I hated about streaming is, whether people want to accept it or not, while streaming is going to be a dominant force for the next multiple decades, it's the new era. It's kind of like how CDs once took VHS, and time has changed, new forms of media, and we know streaming's going to be here for forever. It's only going to get more popular, whether people want to accept it or not. The theatrical business is still the financial profitable place to be.
facts.
And in 2020, now, what during the pandemic, or at least when the pandemic was much bigger without vaccines and all that, during that time, it did seem like, okay, the theaters are gonna die, especially because Tenet bombed hard. But one thing I hated about the Warner Bros. Thing was that year, movies are starting to get back to where they were. Godzilla vs Kong even did well, even though it was on streaming. but then you had No Way Home make 1 billion. You had Free Guy do, I forgot the exact number, but that movie, it was an original movie, did really well. But one thing I hate about putting a movie on streaming is it's like waving it's like waving the white flag before, before the war even starts. And what Warner Bros did was basically said, "Oh, we give up." And the problem with putting your movie on streaming is you are going to lose a lot more money. A lot of people think that, when you put it on streaming, oh, you're going to get more you're going to get more subscriptions, you're going to get more people, which is true. You are going to get a couple more. But pirating becomes, because pirating is the biggest problem with the movie experience right now. Or it's been the biggest problem for the last decades. And what you're essentially doing now is you're handing those people pirating the movies, you're handing them a 4K copy. Because back then it was much harder to even get a slightly 180p version of the movie. But with streaming, you give it to them. And so more people are going to pirate because, most people, understandably, they want to do what fits them best, whether it's paying less, whether it's not having to pay for something they can have for free and all that. And that's what Warner Bros. Essentially did that year. And not only that, but you know, people do watch parties. When Game of Thrones season 8 was coming out, a lot of people were doing watch parties,
Yep.
and that's what they do with the HBO Max movies. And the thing is,
That's
putting a
right.
movie.
That's right. I said.
Uh-huh.
There's people trying to say streaming is the future. It's like, okay, cool, it's the future. Okay, all right, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I can let's say Spider No Home came out on streaming. I can ask 50 people in my family, like, yo, let's have a party at my house, watch the movie together. That's 50 people who haven't paid
Mm-hmm.
for the film.
Yeah,
And
and only like one of you have to pay for that monthly membership.
right. It's basically easy ways of finesse. And then other
Mm-hmm.
problem with streaming, high definition versions release early. Somebody screen records it, downloads whatever they got to do, put the film out on 123 Movies or Put Locker, and it's
Yeah.
already out to the public. I I appreciate same day release for getting because it was a time when theaters was not at full capacity. Like my theater earlier last year wasn't
Mm-hmm.
open, so I couldn't go see Godzilla versus Kong in theaters like I wanted to, so I had to watch it at home. But to do it the whole year, like you had to adjust. But Jason Kalara, he was just being he was stream hungry. Like I was like, come on, bro. Like I get it.
Mm-hmm.
You want to do your streaming service and get it more people to subscribe, but come on.
Yeah,
And
and that's why I'm
also
glad the Batman's going theatrical only finally.
yeah, and also I was even saying this like, people remember when people was petitioning for Zack Snyder Justice League 2 to be on HBO Max?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to really think about it, like you ain't no way Warner Brothers is gonna put a Justice League movie on a streaming service because they know they want to put something like that in theaters to get profit, but since it's specifically something Zack Snyder, they don't want to promote them. So it's like they'd rather just
Mm-hmm.
not put it on streaming because they want to expect profit from a big IP such as the Justice League.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought this up because on in the weekend I was in a stream and someone said that the smartest thing Warner Bros. Could do is if they restore the Snyderverse, that part two, part three, they should be HBO Max exclusively, and then have the rest of DCU movies in theatrical. And I debated him. I said, "You do realize these movies cost 300 million, and you do
Right.
realize these movies need to make the profit." And I said to him, "The only way these movies could go on streaming is if they significantly cut
Cut
at
the
least
budget.
way more than half of the budget, and it be look like a terrible, I don't know, like a little terrible, I don't know,
Sci-fi
indie movie." Yeah, like CW. Actually, probably be worse than CW.
movie. Yeah, because
um,
like Zack Snyder got 70 million to finish. You'll probably
mhm.
get 90 million at most on if they say, all right, make us a movie here, 90 million, make us Justice League 2. It ain't gonna
Yeah,
come off as good as they think it is going to. You're not gonna get that good quality CGI. The right employees that want to put in the effort to do all this special stuff, and I don't
mhm.
think you have enough money to pay the actors either, based off that.
Yeah, and then they brought up, but what about the Snyder cut? The difference between the Snyder cut and the Snyder, the release the Snyder cut campaign and the restore the Snyder's campaign is the Snyder cut was already mainly finished, or
Yeah,
at
it was
least
already
the
pretty much
filming.
like halfway there. They just needed to put on the special effects. I mean,
Hmm.
it wasn't even a complete movie. It was
Yeah,
half of a movie, but once you put on the special effects, then yeah, it's a film now.
yeah, and that was obviously much cheaper because you already have the scenes, you already have all that. I think the only scenes they reshot, or not reshot, but the only new scenes that they filmed were the nightmare scenes. Um, and that's different. The Justice League Part Two, however, or Part Three, or everything is, those are full length movies that have yet to start pre production, because that's a lot of money right there, and
Yeah,
especially when you're a comic book blockbuster. And obviously, Zack Snyder does require to use CGI. That's going to be a lot. And to me, you cannot put movies like that on streaming, and that's why I'm glad that this year the Batman won't be on streaming, because if the Batman had gone on streaming, it would not make
it
any
would have
money really.
it would
I
have bombed.
mean, and someone even brought it here. They said the Suicide Squad bombed hard, and it was because I see some people painting the narrative that the Suicide Squad flopped because the Snyder fans, the Snyder fandom boycotted it. It didn't. It wasn't because of that. The reason why the movie
Same
failed
day
was
release.
because of same day release. Yeah, and you could even say to an extent the R rated was. I wouldn't say it was a like major part. I would say it's a tiny part, but
It was
it
a
was.
part of it. I
Yeah.
but I don't think would have stopped it from making a significant amount of money. Like, I imagine people bootleg the Suicide Squad on the
Hmm.
internet, especially people who couldn't get access to HBO Max. Like, once the movie came out, um, well, I think it probably could have. I think it probably leaked the day before, but
Yeah.
anybody could have put it on any site, sold it, and made their little profit.
I remember somebody even sent me a link of the movie, and I only saw like 2 minutes of it to see how it looked. And it was like 4K beautiful. And I wasn't even trying to look for it. So just imagine the people that were just able to quickly Google the Suicide Squad full movie,
Oh
and
yeah,
there it
I mean it
is.
was the same thing for Zack Snyder Justice League. I was able to watch it the day before and do my reaction and all that, and then I watched it
Hmm.
again on streaming because I wanted to, watch it again, do my second watch, and be done with it.
Yeah, and that to me is, it's like, I do think streaming these studios, Disney, Warner Bros, they are going to have to put a lot of dedication to streaming, whether it's a film specifically for streaming. I know series is what's going to get more popular, especially
Yeah,
spin-off series of like popular IPs. You're already seeing it with Marvel. Even Game of Thrones has their spin-off. Lord of the Rings, the most expensive show of all time, and you are going to have to put a lot of power. But even shows even shows do not have the budget for a movie. And that's why I always put that debate out there. When I was debating this guy, I told him, Lord of the Rings may have had this budget, but no other show has ever had a budget like that.
yeah,
And to me,
and it doesn't mean any other show will get that, but just because one gets it.
yeah, and I use the example of Netflix. So I want everyone in the chat right now, name 6 good Netflix movies that came out in 2021. And the reason why I say that,
2021.
yeah,
God,
and and the
Olivia, I
reason why I
can't
say
remember
that,
any. Hold up.
I can only name, I guess, Red Notice. I would say that's an average movie to me. I didn't really like Army of the Dead, but let me go what I was saying. So Netflix has done the streaming game way longer than everyone else does. They're kind of like, they're professionals, obviously. If people are saying that streaming is going to be the new thing. To me, that is bad to everyone. And the reason why I say that is because Netflix, you go right now on their streaming service and go to original movies, by the way. You'll go through that entire list, and 100 of those movies are really, really bad.
Yep.
But then you have like two or three that are really, really good, like an Irishman, and they'll be promoting the heck out of it. And they make it seem like, hey, look, everybody, Netflix has great original movies. Come to our service.
Yeah,
And
guys,
then you
it's
go,
trending on the top 10 that BS top 10 that they create. I'm like, I
yeah.
remember, I remember one week, King Arthur. Hold up. I remember one week, King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, came back there on streaming, right?
Hmm.
And I don't remember that movie doing that well. People don't talk about it. The movie ended up in like the top 10. It was like top one. I was like, what?
Hmm.
How was King Arthur, Legend of the Sword in top one Netflix? And I was like, you know what? This has to be BS. this has to be BS. This doesn't add up. I know nobody is not watching King Arthur: Legend of the Sword this frequent like this. I'm
Mhm.
not saying it's not a good movie or not, but the movie didn't do that good the first time, and I doubt anybody is going to constantly replay that movie again over and over again on streaming. Put it in the top one. I was like, this top 10 is so fabricated.
Yeah, and the reason why I bring that up is if streaming becomes the model, what it will happen is more movies are going to be bad. There's going to be a significant larger amount of bad movies coming out than good movies. And look, we're still going to have the good movies. That's great. But Netflix is going to use that strategy because I forgot who said this, but he was somebody in Blumhouse. Now I love Blumhouse because they have really low budget movies like Invisible Man that turn out to be really good, especially for their budget, or at least to me. But he said, the problem with streaming is these streaming companies are going to realize they don't really have to make good content. They can make like two good pieces of content, market that the entire year, and still have the numbers. But it's not that they're going to purposely make them bad. Obviously, nobody will ever want to purposely make something bad. What they'll do is they'll significantly cut the budget of
Yep.
the movies. And when you cut the budget, that means the people you're hiring are going to be less skilled, less professional, less experienced, and that's going to lead to worse and worse movies. And that's why I think streaming, if we look, streaming is a blessing, at least when it comes to series. But when it comes to being the main force for movies, that is not a good idea to me, especially looking at Netflix. And Alex even brings up here. So Alex brings up this. He says, "Well, this year Netflix will start to drop more blockbuster movies." Um, that's true, but even with that, that's only going to be like 5 movies out of
Right.
like 100. Because again, like I said, just go on
Because
Netflix
they're
right
trying to
now.
release like a movie every single week. That's their strategy.
Yeah, to them it's more about quantity
Quantity,
over
quality.
quality. And while it is true, they're going to put more blockbuster movies, and same thing with Disney Plus. They're going to try going more on series, HBO Max too. Every streaming, obviously, they want premium original content. But even with that, there's still, and again, just look at the original movie catalog. You're gonna see like 100 bad movies, and then you'll see like 3 good ones. And especially like SSS here, I'm just gonna put them in their top 10 list and look and say, look, everybody, we have great premium content. Like Red Notice was getting promoted the heck out of, and I even saw it said #1, which that makes sense. Obviously, more people are gonna see that because Dwayne Johnson, Gal Gadot, Ryan Reynolds. But even with that, you look at Red Notice, and then you look at everything else, and you're there like, what? Like, are you really making that much premium content? But let's get back to the comments because there's some I forgot to read. But always remember says here, do you think Warner Bros. / DC is going to put Robert Pattinson's Batman as the main character of the DCU? He's not going to. I would
He ain't
bet
gonna
on
be in
this
the
right now.
DCU.
He's not. Even with
At most, we'll see him in a multiverse crossover. I think, and
Mhm.
it kind of makes sense. The CW spinned off this multiverse thing. If anyone's seen Crisis, this is why Walter Hamada and them are going in this route of like this way they're doing the films. I like Joker, letting people create the Batman or more creative type of freedom type of thing.
Mhm.
So I honestly believe we're gonna start seeing more multiverse DC crossover movies, and we'll probably see the Batman pop up in a DCU movie when like a multiverse.
Mhm.
It probably won't be for Flash. Sorry about that.
It's
Probably
all
won't be
right.
for Flash. I don't know, but it can be for just about anything, whatever they want to do. Because supposedly, I'm not sure if you what it says it in the crossover, but the show Stargirl.
Yeah.
So it was said that the Batman takes place in Earth 2 and Stargirl also takes place in Earth 2. I'm not saying Stargirl and Batman are going to cross over, but the possibilities are endless of
Mhm.
what they can do. Maybe they might change where the Batman is set, what Earth it's on, but I really
That's
feel like
actually
they're taking
something I
on what the
like about
CW took.
DC.
Because
What?
this one, okay, this one thing I did like about the CW, I don't hate it all, but the one thing I did like about the CW, they always had lit crossovers. The
Yeah.
multiverse crossovers was tight. Whether you liked it or not, that stuff was cool to see.
One thing I like about DC, at least in the live action movies that they're doing, is they're allowing filmmakers to have their vision. Whether it's James Gunn doing his Suicide Squad,
Mm-hmm.
I forgot the director for Shazam, his name, but he's also it's their director films, and you could see in the Matt Reeves Batman, it seems like it is a Matt Reeves film. James Wan, they're clearly giving him a lot of power for the Aquaman movies. Andy Muschietti, talented director, he's doing his Flash, and that's something I like about DC because to me, the more the better, or at least give me different stories. I don't just want to, and I think it's also something unique because something that's always from the beginning of the DCU. One thing the DCU has always had was that competition with Marvel, and I really feel like one thing that can separate DC from Marvel is not just focus on one producer's vision, but
Yep.
allow different filmmakers to tell their stories. Now, I do think they should be like at least one person saying, "Hey, I don't know. Let's say in the DCU they kill off Kite Man, maybe not have him appear, or at least try discussing that before. Let's say
Yeah,
they
like try to
bring
make
back
sure
Kite
there's
Man."
consistency. Like
Yeah.
if one person has like Bane here, let's
Hmm.
say Bane dies, and I'm not saying he will die, but Bane dies, and James Gunn says, "I want to use Bane in Suicide Squad." Well, you can't use just Bane's James because he's dead. So
Yeah.
not don't let them just do stuff that will contradict something else, but don't let it be like lead up to something. Like let's say, okay, we have the common goal to lead up to Dark Side War or a big Brainiac invasion
Hmm.
or a big Doomsday event. Like, but in this meantime, the Suicide Squad can be doing something like sneaking in the Belle Reeve to get something. Superman could be over here helping out some people. Green Lantern could be in space taking care of this here, but it's not like they're under the same tone. They necessarily have to. Superman and Green Lantern don't have to necessarily connect. Like it just goes from one film to the next. They connect. We all kind of lead up to one thing, but it's not like they're. What I do not want the movies to feel like, and I'm glad Matt Reeves said it. Me and MSK did a video on it with Sean, and he
Hmm.
said he's making this film as if this is his only shot to get it. He's not making it as if like, oh, I know it's going to get a sequel, so I'm gonna end it like it's going to get a sequel. He
Yeah.
said he's making this film as if like this is his only chance, his one shot, then boom. Because I feel like with a lot of movies nowadays, just for like teasers,
You know what that reminds me of?
teasers and trailers to the big event. Like, I'm not saying the MCU doesn't have good quality movies, but some of the movies feel like teasers to a Avengers event or
Hmm.
a multiverse event like Doctor Strange like it just felt like teasers now. They're
Yeah.
teasing us because the real driving point of the story is that crossover event.
Hmm.
And it's like that's cool and all, but each film has to stand alone. Like I need to walk away from the film saying, okay, this feels complete. I don't need you. It's like I shouldn't feel like there needs to be a sequel, but you could make a sequel. But it's like, all right, I feel satisfied with this.
Hmm.
I want to see more, but it doesn't. I don't need to see more. That type of thing.
Yeah, and to me, the priority is always make a good movie. I'm fine with teasers. But let me bring up this example because you just reminded me. There's a Scooby-Doo movie that came out like 2 years ago. It was this animated movie.
Scoop.
Well, yeah, yeah, that one. And one of my
It was
problems with
cool.
that,
It was cool. I thought it was okay.
I enjoyed it for what it was. My only critique was it felt like they were trying way too much to expand a Hanna-Barbera cinematic universe
Yeah.
because you had teasers of Blue Falcon, and then you had Captain Caveman, and then you had like references to other characters that it felt like a big commercial for, hey, look everybody, it's our cinematic universe.
Right.
And even in the
And it
credits,
really didn't like. I'm not sure if they're continuing anything, but it's 2 years later. I don't see them doing any more spinoffs from it.
I haven't heard anything yet. I don't even know. I remember it was the first movie to say that they're not going theatrical because of the pandemic. I remember that. And I don't know what the numbers were because they didn't do streaming because streaming wasn't all that popular at the time.
Yeah.
They did they did digital release. They were just like, hey, you want to buy it here, $30, you can pay us, which I understand. Warner Bros. Understood that Scoob isn't this big blockbuster that everyone's gonna try to watch the opening night, especially during pandemic. So they released it. But I also agree. I feel like when I watch the Batman movie, it does seem like they're doing a lot of world expanding, but to me, it looks like they're doing it for the story, for the plot. Like for example, you have Falcone, you have Penguin, but they feel like they're part of the story, even though Riddler is part of it. And even when I saw the reviews, they said that everything is tied into that mystery that they're trying to unravel. But yeah, to answer Always Remembers comment, I don't think Pattinson's Batman will be anything at all in the DCEU. I do think they're gonna try making. Now, of course, I don't know. I'm not a scooper or anything, but they are gonna make Michael Keaton the definitive Batman in the DCU. Say goodbye to Ben Affleck, or I don't honestly know, but that to me is what it seems like. But let me see what Kamu says. He says, no,
And
I'm not watching. Oh wait, what were you saying?
and I'll be okay with it. Ben Affleck, if Michael Keaton's a definitive Batman. I mean, just make sure Batman's cool. At the end of the day, have him do cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I feel like, honestly, it depends on his Batgirl movie. And if you saw that mural, they showed that Michael Keaton Batman's gonna have a Robin of some sort, or
Yeah.
he had a Robin. I really feel like they're trying to push the Bat family. But I feel like we could potentially get some Titan stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Dick Grayson, where there was those rumors of like Dylan O'Brien being cast as Nightwing, and like if we're gonna be jumping in a Nightwing in this new universe, totally fine with that. Totally
Yeah.
fine with Nightwing getting some shine and love. Eventually, we can get maybe some Titan stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down for it. Like as long as Batman's there, just doing Batman stuff, and I'm fine with it.
Yeah. To me, I love Michael Keane. I think he's a talented actor. Even to me, he's one of my favorite MCU villains as Vulture. I love him as Batman in Batman '89 and Batman Returns. And to me, the I don't mind who they go for, whether it's Ben Affleck, Michael Keane, or whatever. But to me, the main important thing is make a great film, just like the Batman. And then we have coming. He says, "Oh no, I'm not watching it tomorrow. I'm gonna be too tired to drive back down since the showing is at 9 p.m. and the movie is 2 hours and 55 minutes. It's gonna be 11, close to 12 a.m. I'll see you opening day, hopefully." And man, sorry to hear that. I hope you enjoyed the movie. My only recommendation is avoid spoilers. Now we are gonna stream on Wednesday, Thursday, and every other day, but we're not gonna go into spoilers because I'm gonna wait till Monday because I do want to give people time. But hey, man, that's the safe call. You shouldn't drive when you're too tired. That is dangerous. So glad you made the safe call. But hopefully you avoid all spoilers. But don't worry, I won't spoil it. Even on social media like Twitter, Instagram, I won't spoil it there. But yeah, let's see. And then Kamu says F9 did quite good. Yeah, that movie did really good. And then comes as Justice League 2 for theaters. Yeah, it's the only place you can put it. Realistically, if they restore the Snyderverse, the only financially reasonable thing to do is put it in theaters. You cannot do day and day release. You cannot just put it on streaming. The only way you can is if you significantly cut the budget, or if you're a complete idiot and moron and you just want to put it there, which would not make sense at all. And then Alex says, "Isn't the Batman streaming on HBO after a month and being in theaters?" I believe the exact
45
time.
days.
Yeah, it is 45 days, which to me is a good enough time to put it
That's
on
a good
HBO
enough
Max.
time for it to also hit that billion that I think is gonna hit. Because No
Yeah,
Way Home just needed like a week. Batman at most maybe might need 2 weeks, and it'll be good to make the money it needs.
yeah. To me, it's enough time to have, like, for example, the general audience. The general audience mainly watches a commercial and they're like, "Hey, this seems good enough, so I'll go watch it." To me, it gives it enough time for them to see, "Oh, it won't come out till 45 days. Might as well watch it now." It's enough time to let it do its box office numbers. And then after that, get the benefits by getting a couple of HBO subscriptions by putting it on HBO Max. And then Alex says, "Well, I heard that last year they could have changed plans." No, they're still continuing with that. We haven't heard any updates on that, but that's the plan as of now. Always Remember says, "I think some of us can wait until they have that much money to make the Snyderverse movie." Well, it's not about having the money. They have the money. They can get investors and all that. Um, what it is you cannot put it on HBO Max because remember, when you're making a movie, you're not thinking about, is this going to make me more money for the future? It's about, is this movie going to make me money when it's released? And then maybe eventually if you're planning on a cinematic universe. And that's
Yeah,
the thing about the Snyderverse.
they got the money to produce it.
Yeah.
They just don't. Look, I'm not trying to, but Warner Brothers is not like Zack Snyder. I mean,
Yeah.
we know this. They don't like him.
Let me
They
also add
they
on to
do
that.
not want to make the product. They do not want to make his product. They don't want to
Yeah.
endorse it. They don't want to give it life. They just don't like him. I don't say they don't like him. They don't like his vision.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say directly they don't like him. They just don't like
It's
his
not personal.
take on DC.
Yeah, and let me add on to that because I saw like a post on Instagram. There's this critic from Collider, and somebody put his review of the Batman, which was really positive. He said he loved it, and then they pulled up tweets from when BVS was coming out, or when BVS came out, he gave it a negative review. Then after said the Snyder Cut didn't exist around like 2018 ish, and they use that as ammo to say, "Hey, look, there's an anti-Snyder agenda. Look, Warner Brothers," and I'm glad you mentioned this. Warner Bros. Does not hate Zack personally. What they saw, and they even liked Zack's vision because they allowed him to do Man of Steel, BVS. The only thing is, look, when you're in business and when you're running a company, you got to think about the profits before you think about anything else. Because at the end of the day, when you work, when you're running a business, your main priority is to make money. And especially because a lot of these people have families, they got to put food on the plate. And again, Hollywood is a very thin margin. Like people can get fired for messing up once.
Yeah.
And if they and they saw BVS. Now BVS made good money. It made 900 million, but to them a movie called Batman versus Superman was expected to make a billion. And when you're in Hollywood, it's such a thin margin. So why would you risk putting more movies? That's the thing people need to understand. When I say that there's a very little chance the Snyderverse gets restored, even if Discovery comes, I'm not saying it's impossible. What I'm saying is Warner Brothers, Discovery, they see the numbers, and to them, when you're running a business, your priority is finances. And yeah, it's like I brought up this example the last time we streamed together. But I said, when you go to your job, you want to make money. You're not just there because, oh, I'm just there. You're there to make money. And this the same applies for filmmakers. The same applies for everyone. And it's not that they hate Zach personally. It's just they saw his movies, they saw the return, they saw how divide. Because something Snyder fans forget is it's not like Batman versus Superman came out and everyone loved it. What happened was a lot of people hated it, and quite a couple of people enjoyed it. That's what happened. It's the fact. And you don't have to agree because film is subjective. And I'm sure at least one person in the chat right now hates BVS because BVS wasn't a movie like Endgame that got massive love right out of the gate. It was a movie that got a lot of hate. And DC, Warner Brothers, everyone, they saw the numbers, they saw the people's reactions, and they said, you know what? This is a risk. This is not a good idea. Maybe we should change the plans. But it's not. And again, let me say, always remembers comments. It's not about whether they have the money or not, because they obviously do. They're Warner Brothers, one of the biggest studios in Hollywood. What they don't have is any intention of making the movie because they don't think it's going to be financially possible. Now, Discovery could come in and change that. That's possible. And I always say this: there's still that 1% chance that they restore the Snyderverse. But you have to remember, this is a completely different scenario from the Snyder cuts. And then always remember says we have been waiting 3 years to release the Snyder cut. It's true, but remember the Snyder cut was a film that was already filmed. It was already done, or well, at least when it came to filming. But they still had the VFX and all that. The difference is Justice League Part 2, Part 3, Ben Affleck solo movie, David Ayer. Although actually they could release David Ayer's Suicide Squad, but everything else, you have to remember these movies have yet to even hit pre-production because remember it takes like months and months just to even get to that first day of shooting because you have to hire the crews that you're going to have to hire the actors, the filmmakers, the choreography, everything, even as little, even smaller people like janitors, caterers, everyone. So it's not just time, it's also, you know what you do with that time and what you have to do. And these movies haven't started pre-production, while the Snyder Cut was a different scenario. And then always remember says we can wait that much or more. And yeah, look, Snyder fans, we have to be patient if we want the movies, if we want it to come back. We have to be patient, but we also have to be reasonable. Because the reality is there's only a 1% chance the Snyderverse gets restored. And we just gotta be patient. But again, it's not about the money. It's not about the money they have. They have the money. It's more about, should we do it? Because again, as a business, when you're running a business, or at least if you're a decent businessman, when you're running a business, you got to think about the money. But yeah. And then Alex says, "Oh wait, I already read that." And then David F. Sandberg. Oh wait, I think that's the guy that directed Shazam. And then Alex says Matt Reeves said that it's his own thing, but he did mention that there are references to other DC characters. And yeah, I think we saw behind the scenes there was like there's like a person in a Superman costume. That's interesting. I really wonder what they're gonna explain. What do you think about that, SS? I think he's probably away from his computer or phone or you know what? I think this is a perfect time to put up this clip.
In my mind's eye, Kenobi. Kenobi!
I feel bad for the people hearing. Although I'm also hearing in my headphones, so that also hurt my ears. But let me look at the polls. I've yet to check the polls. So it says, so I put a poll that says you got your tickets ready for the Batman, and we have 12 votes. 58% say yes, 42% say no. Um, I, I'm actually surprised how many people don't have their tickets ready. But it's understandable. It's understandable. Let me see what I can pop up here. I forgot I had these images. I have Bully McGuire right here. Then I have Zack Snyder. I always forget I have those images. Oh yeah, I forgot to say this, but Alex told me that he's actually watching The Dark Knight Rises right now. I haven't done my. You know what? Let's. One thing we have to do. We have to do a Batman tier ranking. Right, Batman movies tier ranking. To do a tier ranking, or at least my own personal one, because I don't think I've ever ranked the Batman movies on this channel. Let's see, because I want to do a Batman movie tier list. So what movies do they got? Alex puts Bully McGuire. Batman movie tier list maker. So let's see if they have all the movies. They have the Adam West. I've actually never seen the Adam West stuff. I won't even lie to you. I've never seen the Batman Adam West stuff. So they have Begins, they have Returns, they have Batman and Robin, they have Forever, Dark Knight Rises, BVS, Batman 89, Adam West Batman, and I wait a minute. So that's Rises. Wait a minute. They put Christian. I think they messed up on this tier list. I know you guys aren't seeing, but I think they messed up on that tier list. Let's see. Let me actually pop up the screen right now. All right, because I'm gonna try finding a tier list because I prefer doing tier list over list. And then he says, Alex says, I wanted to go first. Let's see, all Batman movies live. No, I just want live action. I don't want to do too much because I feel like that would be complicated. But this is gonna be my own personal list. Let's see, live action tier list. Create a live action. I already have that. All Batman movies ranked live action Batman. If we can't find a proper tier list, then we're probably gonna have to just get like Google Docs and just go for. All right, let's see. So they have Batman Robin here. Is that wait? Which movie is that? I think that's Batman Returns. No, I think that's Batman 89. Oh, they even have Joker here. I guess that counts. Then this is Batman Begins. Then they have Justice League, Dark Knight, Batman 89, Batman Forever. Oh no, that is Batman Forever. Batman Returns, BBS, and I believe that is Dark Knight Rises. Yeah, Dark Knight Rises. So think I think this is chat. Let me know if this is the proper this is the proper one because I'm trying to remember. So I would have to change this list. I don't like having too many. Oh, I think I added another one. All right, let's delete this one. Delete row. And also you guys can put your list of Batman movies in the chat right now. Let me try putting. So The number one would be Masterpiece. Now there are very few movies I call masterpiece, but Masterpiece would be there. Oh, I just realized Zack Snyder's Justice League isn't here. You know what? Actually, let me try searching it on this. Okay, Batman live action movies. Let's see. And also, I typed in all caps. I think S is left. I know he said that he could only be here for like an hour. So he's taking a break or he's gone, but probably busy. And I hate when these ads pop up. Every live action adapted villain, nope. Batman live action and animated movies, nope. I don't want to do that. Live action animated movies, no. Live action Batman movies. Let's see if this is the right list because I do want to get a proper list. Give you guys my ranking. But let me read Alex's. Alex put his list here. He says The Dark Knight. Okay, so let me read reverse. So here's his list: Batman and Robin, Batman Forever, Batman Returns, Batman 89, Begins, Dark Knight Rises, and The Dark Knight. Oh, you put Dark Knight Rises pretty high up on that list. That's actually good. That's actually interesting. Oh wait, this is the same exact one from last time. Come on, give me a right list. Also, if you're gonna add Justice League, why don't you add both the Zack Snyder? Also, you know what? Let's do Batman actors first, and then we'll do movie. Let's see. Do they have all the actors? Oh man, what? They're putting 3 of the same. Nah, let's not do actors. Let's see. Let's see. Live action Batman villains. Live action Batman films. All right. Let's see if films. Let's see if that works. I think SSJ probably won't. I don't, because I do want to remove the screen if he's not here, but oh well. Okay, so they have Batman 89, Batman Begins, Batman Forever. No, Batman Returns, Batman Forever. That's Dark Knight Rises, The Dark Knight, Batman and Robin, Joker, and BVS. Okay, so I think this should be all of them, except like the Adam West, but I don't really want to talk about Adam West. Batman Robin, Batman Forever, Batman Return. Okay, so this is all the 90s movies that are there. Then all the Dark Knight trilogy is there. They have Joker, BVS. All right, so let's remove a couple. Let's remove. I don't like having too many. Like when I do a tier, I don't like having too many, like parts. So I'm just gonna put like 4, I think. Okay, so master. Oh wait, no, I spelled that wrong. Or not. What does it say, Sam? Okay, master piece. Masterpiece. Great. Oh. Solid. Yeah, I'll put solid there. And then the bottom one would be horrible. Horrible would be here. And then okay. I think okay. So masterpiece to me is the highest thing you can ever call a movie. Great is it's a great movie. Not the perfect movie, but good enough on its own. Okay to me can be kind of like in the middle. It's like it's either a decent movie or it's a decent movie. That's what I'm saying. It's decent. There's a lot of flaws, but there's a lot of good things. And then horrible is just all right horrible. So let's go first. Actually, let me read Alex's chat comment. I really like Val Kilmer's Batman, but the writing could have been better. # release the Batman Forever cut. I think I said this earlier, but I said I actually like Val Kilmer as Bruce Wayne. I didn't really like his Batman per se, but I liked it for what it was. I don't think it's in the top 3. But he was good enough in what he had. Also, I'm gonna remove S as he can tell me in the private chat when he gets here. But yeah, I like Valcom for what he was. And then Alex says, for my birthday, I had a Batman themed party, and I had the Adam West show playing. Oh yeah, I saw that on your Snapchat. Yeah, that's exciting. That's exciting. I've never seen the Adam West stuff. I've seen like clips, but that's about it. It looks a little too silly for me, but that's awesome. Um, so let's start off with probably the worst one. It would have to be Batman and Robin. I hate that movie. The only thing I like is Robin and Batman's dynamic, but that's literally about it. Everything else I hate. And then what else would be horrible? I don't think I consider any of the other ones horrible. Um, so I guess that's done for this tier list, for this part of the tier list. And then the next one. So I'm gonna do a ranking of least best to best. So that's the order I'm putting them. So the next one would be, I would say Batman Forever is there. I like him. I like it as okay. I put in the okay part. I like it for what it is. I don't think it's a great movie, but it is what it is. And then Batman Forever, or not Batman Forever, Batman Returns. I put it there in the same category. Hold up. SS just messaged me. He says, "Hey, I got to head out. All right, it's all right. Safe." And by the way, thank you SS for popping in. Saying hi. He's right there. I want to thank him for being here. Y'all go subscribe to him. Y'all see his name on earlier, but thank you, man, for being here. And he had to go. All right, so I think I'm gonna. All right, let's go back to where we were. Okay, so that's an okay. What other movie do I consider okay? I think that's it for, because okay means it can be good but not great. But now great means it's more positive than, and it could have some flaws, but that's about it. But Dark Knight Rises. I think this one's Dark Knight Rises. I put Dark Knight Rises here. That's next on my list. I like Dark Knight Rises. I don't think it's a perfect movie. I think it's all right for what it is. There are plot holes in it that I do not like. I'll admit that there's some silly things, but I put Dark Knight Rises right there in the great category. It's great enough to where I can say it's an all right movie. Oh, sorry. I gotta remove this comment. I didn't realize it was still there. But should I have? Let's see where I should put my square. No, I'm gonna keep myself there. But next one. Okay, so great. We're still on great. Oh wait, no. I don't know which one I like more, Batman 89 or Dark Knight. You know what? I'll say I like Dark Knight Rises more than Batman 89. So let me actually change spots because I forgot to mention Batman 89. So I like Batman 99. I think it's a great film, but to me, I prefer Dark Knight Rises over it. Now after that, I would put Batman Begins. I think Batman Begins is better than all these films so far. I would put it as great. I don't think it's a masterpiece, but I think it's really, really a great, great film. And again, it's not a criticism if I say a movie's not a masterpiece. It's just that to me, the term masterpiece is something I can only say for very, very, very few movies that have to be insanely good. That they'd have to be at least near perfect for me to call it a masterpiece. Say, I always forget to say that because there are some people who are like, "Oh, why didn't you think it was a masterpiece?" And I'll tell them, well, it's because I didn't think they were perfect movies. I think they were great for what they are, and they're really, really good movies. They can be movies I love, but I wouldn't consider them like James Gunn's Suicide Squad. You guys know how much I love James Gunn's Suicide Squad, but to me, that movie is not a masterpiece because that label of masterpiece can only be said for a couple of films. But let's go back to the list. Then we'll put Joker there. I think Joker isn't great. I think or is great. It sounded like I said isn't, but I put Joker in the great category. So I put it over Batman Begins. I put it over Dark Knight Rises. I put it over Batman 89. And then at the OK section, I put it over Batman Forever. I put it over Batman Returns. And then I put it, the only horrible Batman movie that I can think of is Batman and Robin. I actually like Returns and Forever. I like them for what they are. They aren't great movies, but they're good enough. Good enough. Yeah, I would say that. Then the next, now this one's going to be tough. And this one's probably the first unpopular opinion I have. I would say it's probably the only unpopular opinion I have on this tier list. Wait, let me drink some water. So we have Dark Knight and Batman vs Superman. So which one will take second place? I'm gonna say Dark Knight. I love Dark Knight. To me, it is a masterpiece. It is the greatest individual solo Batman movie. But I say Batman vs Superman is the superior movie. That's my hot take right there. That's a big hot take right there because a lot of people do put Dark Knight as the best. Oh, that's his left. I do put I do put Dark Knight as the best solo Batman movie as of yet. I've yet to watch the Batman, by the way. This is, of course, the pregame show. But Batman vs Superman to me is the best movie out of all these. Like it's the masterpiece. To me, is my favorite. You guys know how much I love Batman. It's not my favorite movie of all time. Obviously, Zack Snyder's Justice League is above that, but I prefer it over Dark Knight. I say that right now. I say that right now. But then after this, I'm gonna do actors. Let's do actors. So that is my live action tier list. Let me put the ranking right now for everyone listening on the podcast edition. So here's my ranking. At the horrible tier, we have Batman and Robin. At the okay tier, we have Batman Forever. Then we have Batman Returns. In the great tier, we have Batman 89. We have Dark Knight Rises. We have Batman Begins. And we have Joker. And then in the masterpiece, I put Dark Knight. And then I put Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. And even Alex here, he says, I agree with the hot take. Yeah, it's a hot take. BVS being, to me, it is a better film than Dark Knight. Although I love the Dark Knight for what it is. To me, Dark Knight is perfect. But I do prefer BVS over the movie or over. And I think Alex is probably the only person I know in person who would say that BVS is a better film than The Dark Knight. I know a lot of people who love The Dark Knight and don't like the BVS. But let me try finding now Batman actors. Let's actually look for Batman actors. Batman actors. Hopefully it's not that list that I found earlier that showed me way too many of one actors. Like it showed me 3 Robert Pattinsons. And by the way, I'm doing the live action. Oh, we could do live action villains next. We could do live action villains. All right. So we have Batman actors ranked. I don't know which one would be better. I guess I would choose just Batman actors ranked. All right. So let's see. So we have all of them. So we have Adam West. Wait, who's this one right here? Who's this one? I'm only gonna put the ones I know. I cannot see. So it is really small. It is really small here. So we have Ben Affleck. We have Christian Bale. Crap. Why am I? This is Michael Keaton. This one's Val Kilmer. And this one's George Clooney, and then Adam West, obviously. So it is. And I think they put the list. I'm gonna remove some of them. I think I'm gonna remove one row. So should not exist. I think that's too harsh. Terrible. I'm gonna put terrible. I wouldn't say they shouldn't exist. I think this is the Gotham one. I think this is the Gotham series Batman. I don't know. I can't really see that much from this little image they put. That's something I don't like about doing these tier lists. But best, great, decent, terrible. And again, decent just means I like it, but there's flaws to it. Terrible. I don't know much about the Adam West. I've never seen Adam West, so I'm just gonna put him there. There he goes. Adam West, terrible. Then George Clooney. I can't really see if that one has. I think that does have bat nipples. I think it does have bat nipples. George Clooney wasn't a horrible. Actually, you know what? He was terrible. He was terrible. I'm gonna put him there. Although I did like him as Bruce Wayne in Batman and Robin, but that's about it. Val Kilmer. I'll put Val Kilmer in decent. And then Michael Keaton. Another hot take. This is another hot take. I'm gonna put him in decent. One thing I don't like about Michael Keaton's Batman. All right. One thing I don't like about Michael Keaton's Batman is in his movies, he doesn't grow as a character. And even in Batman 89, the more popular Michael Keaton movie, even in that movie, Michael Keaton's Batman doesn't grow. In fact, I would say there's more development for Jack Nicholson's Joker than there is for Michael Keaton's Batman. I like him still. But in those movies, in Batman 89 especially, he doesn't grow as a character. You don't see much development, but I like him for what he is. And that's good enough. So I put him as decent. So that's my hot take right there. I don't think he's a great Batman. I think he's a decent Batman. And I put him right there next to Val Kilmer. And then we have Christian Bale. I'll put Christian Bale. Now I know you're probably wondering, why am I not putting him as best? That's because Christian Bale, I love him. I think Christian acting wise. Let me look when I'm talking about their reputation, their resume as a whole, all these actors. When I'm talking about the resume, when I'm talking about their history as actors in the profession, I think Christian Bale is the best individual actor compared to everyone else in this list. With that being said, I love his Batman. I loved his Cape Crusader, and I think his suits look cool. But my only negatives from them is the voice. The voice, I like the voice, but it does get a bit, especially when we get to Dark Knight Rises. And Batman Begins, it's understandable. In The Dark Knight, it's good enough. But also, somebody just asked me that they missed my live. I'm still live. Wait, hold on. I'm still live on YouTube. Search up Multiverse of Movies. That's funny. Sorry if I took a while to read that, but Christian Bale as Batman is insanely talented, and I think his Bruce Wayne is great. My only problems with Christian Bale's Batman is the voice gets frustrating once we get into Rises, and he also gets overshadowed in his own movies. He got overshadowed in Dark Knight, except in Batman Begins. And in Batman Begins, and you could say to an extent Dark Knight Rises, but in Dark Knight, which is his main, more popular film, in that movie he gets overshadowed. In that movie, he is overshadowed by Heath Ledger's Joker. Now, to be fair, Heath Ledger's Joker did have one of the greatest performances in all cinema history, not just comic book movies, but in all cinema history. But even with that being said, Christian Bale was overshadowed in that movie, at least to me. But let's go back to the tier list. I think Christian Bale is a talented guy, and I think he's a great Batman. But to me, he's not the best Batman. And to me, that goes to Ben Affleck, which I guess you could say is a hot take. I guess you could say it's a hot take. But Ben Affleck, to me, is the undisputed best Batman. At least to me. At least to me. To me, what I like about Batman most is, Batman's not, the mask isn't Batman. It's Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is the mask. And one thing I like about Ben Affleck's Batman is when he's not Batman and when he's Bruce Wayne, you can still feel he's still Batman. About the other Batman, except Pattinson, because I haven't seen Pattinson yet. When you look at the other Batman, one thing you notice is they have when Bruce Wayne acts different, even when he's not in public, he still acts different from Batman. And that ain't a bad thing, but I just prefer Ben Affleck's. I just prefer how they did Ben Affleck's. But now let's look Batman live action villains. Let's actually look at the villains. This is gonna be the last tier list, and after that, we're probably gonna end the show. But every live action, I noticed that the cover is Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. Interesting. He wasn't a villain per se. He's a villain, but he wasn't the antagonist. Oh my god, that's too many numbers. Ooh, that is too many. No, that's too many right there. That's too many right there. I'm not even gonna I'm not even gonna try with that list. Live action. So let's actually look back. Okay, let me put the search button. Try looking for his best villains. Live action Batman villains. I'm trying to say everything because some people listen to the Spotify podcast format, and I do want to allow them to know what it is I'm saying. Oh no, I clicked on an ad. I don't want to watch this ad. I'm going to get copyrighted, aren't I? Okay. So we are now at live action Batman villains. So let's see. Oh my god, that's still a lot. I don't want to do the Gotham stuff. I want to do live action. Let me search up another thing. And then if I can't find anything, then I'm just going to give up. Batman live action movie villains. All right, let's see if that works this time because I don't want to do too many. I don't want to do like the Gotham series. Um, let's see. Real live action Batman, villain. I already did that list. Let's see. There's even a theme. I'm not gonna do theme. But I will say the Pattinson one's already my favorite. Batman movie villains tier list. All right, I guess that one. If that one's not good, then I'm not even gonna try anymore. But I cannot believe that 24 hours from now, I'm gonna be watching the Batman. All right, so this list is shortened. I'm only gonna do them quick because there's some that I don't really want to do, like Catwoman. She's not really a villain in her movie, or at least that Anne Hathaway version. Um, you have Falcone, there. You have Riddler. You have Poison Ivy. Yeah, Penguin. Yeah, I'm not gonna do all of them. This is gonna be our longest list, so let's try shortening it. The top one will be labeled as master class because this is performance based right here. Performance based, and then the second row will be great. I mean, I hit the volume button. Great. And this one, then the third. Oh, I didn't even. I clicked on the wrong button. All right, so B. Oh, I don't get why it messed me up. Okay, there we go. We're back. B will be okay. And then the C, the last row will be trash. I'm sorry. That sounds mean. So we're gonna rank them from least favorite villain to favorite villain. Trash. I think Two-Face from Batman Forever. Yeah, Batman Forever was terrible. I'll say that right now. I didn't like Mr. Freeze. You know what? I'm gonna say the unpopular opinion. I think Mr. Freeze was okay, but I'm not gonna put him there yet. I just thought about that right now. Poison Ivy, I thought was terrible. Bane from Batman and Robin was terrible. Um, Jim Carrey's Riddler was terrible. So trash. Oh my god, there's already a lot of trash. There's two villains right here. So there's like three of them right here that I'm not gonna do, but who cares? It doesn't matter. And so Mr. Freeze, my hot take is okay. I didn't hate Mr. Freeze. I actually like Arnold as Mr. Freeze. You know what? Bring him back. Bring him back for a sequel, Matt Reeves. Bring him back. No, I'm just kidding. Penguin, or at least Danny DeVito's Penguin, I thought was okay. Talia al Ghul, I thought she was okay. She didn't really do too much in Dark Knight Rises. I liked her for who she was. And then the Catwoman from Batman Returns. That Haley Berry. You know what? I'll put her as great. I think she's my favorite Catwoman we've had in live action. Now I've not seen the Zoe Kravitz version because I've not seen the Batman, but tomorrow my opinion will probably change. So now we're in the great section. We're now done with the okay and trash section. Falcone, I'll put him in great. Ra's al Ghul, I'll put him in great. Next, who would I put? I would put Jack Nicholson's Joker would be in great. I put let's see what could be the next one. I just forgot the guy from the Chinese man from The Dark Knight. I will put him as okay. I'll put him as okay. So that's the last one we do for okay. So we're gonna go back to the great section. The great section, I'll put. Who could I put next? I'll put Scarecrow in great. I'll put Bane in great. And that's gonna be it for the great section. Now we're gonna get to masterclass. This is performances I loved and I think are the best. So now we only have two characters left. I'm not gonna do these other three characters because they really weren't villains, or this one I cannot remember. Harvey Dent. The Harvey Dent from The Dark Knight. I put him in masterclass. I love him that much. Oh. Yep, I put him there. I think he was great. In fact, he is my favorite villain in the Dark Knight trilogy besides Joker. And by Joker, I'm gonna put him there at the masterclass section. The Heath Ledger Joker, who I still think is the best live action portrayal of the character. I actually think it's the best portrayal of the character in general. Heath Ledger's Joker. I think he was great in what he had to do. But yeah, I'll put him there, masterclass. So there's our list right there. I'm done with this list. I think we've done a great list right here. And let's actually look at the Rotten Tomatoes. Let's actually look at Rotten Tomatoes one last time, because it's been almost 2 hours since we saw the last time in the score. By the way, again, tomorrow's show will be canceled, obviously, because I'm watching the Batman. But I am gonna do an out of the theater reaction. But I wasn't able to really read the reviews because I had S's and I didn't really want him to just see me read. But we have 169 reviews, so that's 2 more reviews than the last time we saw, or 3 more. I think it is at 88%. It is, it is fresh. It is certified fresh on the tomato meter. Let's see some of the reviews. Let me click on the reviews. Actually, let me. And we have Alex saying W stream. I've loved this stream. Today was a great pregame show. We're all excited. We are, this. I cannot believe. Let me actually go into the big camera. I cannot believe that tomorrow, I mean today, right now, at this very moment, this is the last time we're talking where none of us have seen the Batman. None of us have seen the Batman. None of us. But tomorrow that's changing because I'm watching it. Alex is watching it. A lot of you guys are watching it. Today is the last day that none of us have watched it. None of us. Today, we still have our Batman virginity on. But tomorrow, there's a different era. And yeah, thank you, Alex. W stream. This was a fun stream. We got to talk a lot about Batman. We had a lot of you guys comment. And then Alex says the excitement is running through my blood. By the way, me and Alex, we got to do an out of the theater reaction. Like, just quickly pull out my phone and do like a 5-minute review saying, "Oh, we love this movie," or "We hate this movie." Whatever our reaction. I think I'm gonna love this movie. I think I'm gonna love this movie. I am so excited, and especially in that IMAX theater. But I cannot believe that tomorrow we are watching the Batman. Or at least some of us are going to lose our Batman virginity. Some people are going to have to wait till Thursday. Some people maybe Friday, maybe even Wednesday. Some people are actually watching it Wednesday. Some people are watching it Saturday, Sunday. I cannot wait. And I cannot wait for Monday. And I cannot wait to do this Batman Funko Pop giveaway, which we are announcing next Monday. I was going to do it this Monday, but I was so insanely busy trying to prepare everything that I forgot to do this poll thing. I forgot I was gonna do like a raffle. I was gonna get like a bucket. I was gonna put the names. I was gonna show you guys names and then just kind of roll it, and then whatever name came out, that name would get the Funko Pop. And if I notice a lot of people like a lot of people like the little thing we're doing with the giveaway. So if you guys want to see more in the future, y'all let me know. But let's go back to the reactions. Let's put myself there. And maybe take myself off screen. I prefer to have me on the screen. Jim Shembri says it's good but not great, with the emphasis on drama and a pretty complicated plot that is involving, decidedly heavy, and to be frank, not all that exciting. Director Matt Reeves takes his time with the pacing, is big on character, short on action. Reeves' contribution on the latest Cape Crusader tale his hypnotic with dazzlingly dark visuals, and as a 7/ The Crow. Ooh, that's actually a good inspired detective story. It's not as focused as the Nolan trilogy, but boosts a strong start for Batman detective stories. That review right there. I love that review. Stephen A. Russell says it all adds up to an epic vision of an age-old tale. That's exciting. Here, Batman default state is pure misery, and while that may be something many viewers can emphasize with, this is a Batman few would want to be. Oh yeah, I noticed that in the trailers already. A magnificently dark vision that resets expectations about the character and his place in the world. That's great. And then this one, let me actually read. Okay, so let me read these 2 big paragraph ones. Despite its flaws, okay, this comes from Tori Brazier. She says, despite its flaws, Reeves and Pattinson do offer something new and quite exciting with their interpretation of the DC superhero. Diehard fans will have plenty to chew over, while more casual viewers can admire the exceptional cast and the characters. Even with missteps, The Batman is an impressive movie. It's not a rousing, over the top, exciting superhero version of the character we remember from Tim Burton or Christopher Nolan, but it shouldn't be. This is Matt Reeves's Batman. That the reviews sound great. And then Alex says here, just finished Dark Knight Rises, got goosebumps already. Dude, I didn't get to do my Batman marathon. I did watch Dark Knight a couple of days ago, and I did watch Batman 89. That was about it. Dude, I'm glad I probably should have done my Batman marathon. I'm excited. I actually enjoy Dark Knight Rises. I cannot wait for tomorrow, man. I just cannot wait for tomorrow. But let's get back to some of the reviews. Okay, so we found a negative one from Tania Lamb. Performance. Oh wait, no, I read that one already. The man. You know what? Let's try watching a YouTube video. Let's try watching a review. So I watched a couple already. 3C Films. Black Comic Nerd. I think that's what his name. No, the Black Nerd. I saw his review. I saw 3C Films. I haven't seen any. Let's actually watch the Batman review. Let's see a Batman review. No spoilers, obviously. Okay, Chris Stuckman. I'm gonna look for one that's short. I saw Jeremy Johnson's. Oh my, my pregame shows here in the front. Okay, this one's pretty long. I'm gonna watch it off screen. John Campia. Oh wait, that's not his review, but that's him reacting to the reviews. I'm gonna try finding one that isn't too long. Lit Alex wants me to see the. No, that one's too long. I do love Real Rejects. I love them, man. Once they collabed with. Let's see. I'm trying to see something right now. Somebody sent me a message. Let's see what review we can watch. The Batman reviews. Who's somebody's reaction I haven't seen? I'm trying to find a short one that's at least 10 minutes, like at minimum. John Ronca, right at the theater reaction. I don't really know much about John Ronca, but yeah. Joe Blow Originals, the Batman movie review. Oh, Joe Blow. I haven't seen his review just yet. Should I watch Stuckman? Stuckman's a great review. You know what? You guys want to watch Stuckman? Nah, let's see who else. I know Andy Signor did his review. He did like a hot take one. I think he said it's not the best. He didn't think it was that great. Honest thoughts. Oh wait, 14 minutes. I don't know who Get Jappy is. I know the people on Spotify are probably confused as to why I'm talking. By the way, I had a message a couple of days ago. Someone messaged me saying they found me on Spotify and they didn't know about my channel prior, and they listened to it while they were working out or something like that. And they said they enjoyed the podcast and they found out about my YouTube channel. So that was fun. This is not my favorite Batman, just my opinion reviews. Actually, that's 25 minutes. I don't want to. Oh, here's Andy Signors. I really want to see his. One thing I don't like about Andy is you can tell by his reviews, or at least how he words them, is he's doing it very clickbaity. He does it for every review, even Space Jam 2, Shang-Chi, Eternals. So, although this one isn't very clickbaity, he just asked the question, is it the best Batman movie yet? I don't know. I don't even think I want to watch Andy Signor. I think I'm just gonna go for Chris Stuckman because I haven't seen his review. I did watch Jeremy Johns. I saw 3C Films. Oh, and there's Black Nerd Comedy. I saw his. You know, let's go for Chris Stuckman. Let's go for Chris Stuckman. Let's watch Stuckman's review. And by the way, all credits go to Stuckman. I know this is technically me stealing his content. I'm just watching this because I want to see what he has. By the way, I don't even have YouTube Premium, so you guys have to bear with ads. But we'll watch Chris Stuckman's review, maybe listen to what he has to say, and then we'll do whatever we want. Okay, so wait, I think I'm gonna have to turn on the screen because it's gonna look dark. Let's I think I'm gonna have to go back, turn on the light. Okay, so that light's good. Okay, so we're gonna use this light so the red vibe won't be back and as like now it looks more orangey. But hey, we got to do it because it's the only way you guys can see me. But let's go back to Chris Stuckman. We are going to watch Stuckman's review completely full on. Oh. Let's watch it.
The Batman is directed by Matt Reeves and stars Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne and Batman, Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle, and Paul Dano as the Riddler. In this film, Bruce
By the way,
Wayne has been
y'all
prowling.
go show him. Y'all go show Chris some love. All right, y'all go give him his. Y'all smash his like button because I know I'm I'm stealing his content by just watching it here on stream. But y'all go show him some
City
love.
streets of Gotham at night as Batman for 2 years. He's pretty new to the job, and the police don't really trust him yet. Although Gordon, played by Jeffrey Wright, has developed a friendship with him. And when dead bodies begin to show up with cryptic clues left by a serial killer calling himself the Riddler, Batman and Gordon team up to try to solve this case. A few years back, I kind of stopped doing the whole my most anticipated movie of the year thing, but part of me thinks that if I were still doing that list, the Batman would have been the number one. Matt Reeves has never made a bad film. I love Cloverfield. I loved his Let Me In remake and both of his Apes movies. I think he's one of the best filmmakers working today, and I'm so glad he's working in the studio space because he's making really interesting and bold, dramatic films out of what someone else might have just looked at as a paycheck picture. I've also been pulling for Robert Pattinson for many, many years. I thought he was fantastic in so many films, namely my favorite movie of 2019, The Lighthouse. So when he was cast as Batman, I was ecstatic. I thought it was a fantastic choice, despite what many people on the internet keep doing over and over again who have not learned their lesson ever. They just keep doing it. The Batman is absolutely fantastic. It's a 3-hour movie that felt like 2. It's very much as advertised. Reeves has talked extensively about how he wanted to make a detective movie that felt like film noir, that had aspects of David Fincher movies like Seven, and he succeeded with flying colors.
Interesting.
Even though Batman has definitely investigated cases in the past in movies like Mask of the Phantasm or The Dark Knight, it's never been shown to this extent. Reeves is meticulous in how he depicts Batman's ability to solve crimes, and the tech that he uses that I won't spoil, I thought was brilliant. I've never.
By the way, I'm gonna have to be careful getting copyrighted because I know Chris once got copyrighted because he does show clips of the movie itself on his review. But if Chris got away with, because I saw an ad, I guess that means I can get away with it too. So
Seen it done before in a Batman movie. It was an ingenious way for Batman to tabulate everything that he was investigating. The choice to make the Riddler essentially the Zodiac killer is also very smart. Because if you look at real life true crime, someone like the Zodiac who left ciphers and clues and toyed with the police is essentially the Riddler. And although I will always have an affinity for Jim Carrey as that character, this really brings the Riddler down to earth and makes him feel like someone that could feasibly pop up one day. And so the film is sufficiently terrifying at times. And having loved Paul Dano in multiple films, especially Prisoners, the choice to make him a psychotic, murdering maniac works for me. Michael Giacchino had a tough job with this movie because you've had so many great Batman scores over the years. Danny Elfman, James Newton Howard, and Hans Zimmer. You know, it's just, there's so much great Batman music. When you step into that realm, what are you going to do that feels unique? You know, there's a reason this guy gets hired on so many movies. He's brilliant. And I love his Batman theme because it's sufficiently sad while also being exciting and very manly. Like it feels very muscular, but it's also bleak. Really great shit, man. Loved it. There's been a fair amount of actresses that have played Catwoman in live action films. Of course, the infamous Halle Berry film. We've had Anne Hathaway and the iconic Michelle Pfeiffer, who I still think is the best Catwoman. But Zoe Kravitz is excellent.
I don't know why I got this confused, but earlier I said Halle Berry is my favorite. No, I'd put crap. What name did he say?
In live action films, of course, the infamous Halle Berry film. We've had Anne Hathaway and the iconic Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, I was thinking of Michelle Pfeiffer. I don't know why I said Halle Berry, but to correct myself, I meant to say Michelle Pfeiffer, not Halle Berry. Michelle Pfeiffer is my favorite Catwoman.
Still think is the best Catwoman, but Zoe Kravitz is excellent as Selena Kyle. I love the simplicity of her mask. It works for a character that is not rich, that does not have a lot of money at all. And she would have just cut that out herself and put it on her face, and it just makes sense. Colin Farrell as the Penguin is absolutely unrecognizable. What they've done with him is astounding. And it's not even just the way he looks. You know, sometimes you hear criticism about actors who get a lot of praise for a role where they're wearing a lot of makeup or prosthetics, or there's been CGI work done and all that. His voice, though, I don't know how that voice is coming out of Colin Farrell. It just doesn't sound a thing
It does.
like him. And
I heard
again, the Penguin
clips,
could be a
obviously.
character that you could really go over the top with. And he does. He is very big in the movie. It's not like Danny DeVito eating fish and spitting and stuff. It's not that over the top. But every time Colin Farrell has played a villain in a comic book movie, like Bullseye and Daredevil, he definitely goes there. This time, I think it really works. And he also has one of the most insane sequences in the film, which you've seen pieces of in the trailer, an amazing car chase with the Batmobile. And that scene was fucking riveting. I also loved Andy Serkis as Alfred. I mean, the casting here is just fucking on point. Everyone is so, so good. So let's talk about the obvious elephant in the room, Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne and Batman.
Oh, crap. I always turn off the audio because they play copyrighted music, and I ain't about to get in trouble for that. I ain't about to get in trouble.
This guy, man,
I'm back.
I'm not going to hear shit. I don't want to hear fucking shit about Robert Pattinson and Twilight or Sparkles or whatever. I don't want to hear it.
I'm glad he said that.
It's done. It's fucking done. As a people, we're moving on. He's so good in this movie, not just as Batman, but as Bruce Wayne especially. He is very silent. I've obviously only seen the movie once, and it's not like I'm sitting there counting, but it really feels like this is the least amount of lines that has been given to the lead character of a Batman movie. There's a great sequence that's been released already that shows him at a funeral, Bruce Wayne, and he basically just looks at people throughout the whole scene, and it's kind of crushing. You really feel the darkness and the sadness that's looming behind this character. And they do that without going too much into the backstory that we've all heard and seen 1,000 times.
That sounds interesting.
You feel that loss just through his portrayal. I also loved how his house was very Batman-y. I know that sounds like a stupid thing to say, but the Nolan films were so realistic. This film is also very grounded, but his house really does look kind of like a Gothic manor. It looks like the kind of house
I notice a lot of viewers when I watch Chris.
Would be
I
on
guess
the
they're here for
fucking
me, not
inside.
Chris.
And he's great as Batman.
Kidding.
The film has very minimal uses of humor, just like the Nolan trilogy did, where you would insert the occasional, I don't want to say joke, just like it's just got fun moments. I mean, if you actually watch Batman Begins, that's a fairly funny movie. I mean, remember Nice Coat? I mean, there's actually a fair amount of jokes in Batman Begins. I don't need protection for them. There's tons of jokes in the Dark Knight trilogy, and the Dark Knight movie is actually very funny. It's just funny in all the scariest ways. This movie has less humor than those films, but there is a surprising amount of levity in certain sequences. Nothing that is going to take away from the experience, and I'll talk about it more in the spoiler video probably. But the Batman suit obviously does a lot of work.
It shows a lot of
for an
clips.
actor
That's something I
portraying
criticize.
But
Like,
what
why do you got to
Reeves
show
and
so many
Pattinson
clips?
have done with the
you do
character in
realize you're
this
going to
movie
get copyrighted.
is
Chris.
very much about
Chris,
how
but
he
still.
carries himself, how Batman walks, how he turns, how he looks at people. He's intimidating without saying anything. He often comes out of the shadows with very heavy footsteps, but you don't see him for a long time. You just hear those footsteps approaching. I'm getting goosebumps right now. It was amazing. Reeves helms the action with such a clear view of everything. Sometimes the camera isn't even moving. It's just a locked down wide of Batman beating the shit out of people.
There.
Like
like I said earlier with S's, I said
the film kind of explores
one problem with
Batman's
Hollywood is they
view
shake
at
the
this
camera
early
so
stage
much
in his career of what he thinks the city needs. And
so
in
I'm
a
glad
way,
Chris
it's
brought
kind
that
of
up.
a coming of age
I'm glad
story,
he brought
even
it
though
up.
he already is Batman. It's not an origin story, but it's kind of about him learning to be the Batman that Gotham kind of needs him to be. And I really
like that. His learning stage, kind of like No Way Home.
Various movies.
Did that with Spider-Man.
Whatever Gotham needs me to be. You know, I get it. It's been
That's
done
actually
before.
A good impersonation, right?
But
there.
It's here, the way they did it, and I'll talk about it in the spoiler video, was really smart. I have things I want to talk about in that spoiler video. I really do. I won't mention
what it is.
I won't say. I won't.
I can't wait for next Monday.
But I'm looking forward. I
cannot wait for just tomorrow,
guys. This
hours.
movie genuinely, really, actually satisfied me. Even films that I've enjoyed watching, you know, there were little things about it that kind of bugged me. Like I legitimately loved Spider-Man No Way Home. But there were little things like there were just little things about it that I would have maybe changed, especially from a directorial standpoint.
I know he's making a movie, so
there's really
some
nothing
good
in
input.
this movie that I would want to be different. I love how long it is. I love how meticulous.
You know what clip I'm about to play. You know what clip I'm about to play after what I just heard from.
That's what she said.
Reeves
I haven't been
is
able to
about
play that clip.
examining crime scenes and
glad I
showing
can.
how Batman operates. I loved Pattinson in the role and everybody else in the movie. I think this is fucking phenomenal. I can't wait to watch it again. It's coming out soon. I hope you guys enjoy it. But I also want to let you know that my Kickstarter campaign for the feature I'm going to be directing this summer, Shelby Oaks, is going to launch tomorrow, March 1st. And we need your guys' help. We really do.
Y'all go show
We've
some
run
love
into
if you
a
can.
lot of issues trying to get the film off the ground. There's a lot of things that I really want to do, and I really want to make the best release I could use.
All right, that's a pretty good review. Maybe we can watch one last review, and then I will probably have to click out because I gotta go to sleep. Let's see. Let's try looking for one more review, but this would have to be a really short video because we already passed the 2-hour mark. I'm getting exhausted, and I gotta get my sleep in so that I can be ready for tomorrow. And my pregame show is actually one of the first things you see. So let me actually put it on screen right now. When you search up the Batman movie review, my pregame show is right there. It's right there. I would love to watch Zach Pope's because I love Zach Pope. He's such an exciting person. I love the way he talks about movies. I would love to put it, but his reviews are always really long. So I prefer not to. IGN, I don't really like watching IGN YouTube reviews. I prefer just to read them quickly. Because one thing I like about reviewers is personality. And to me, IGN doesn't really have that. But when you watch these individual creators like Zach, Real Rejects, Chris Stuckman, Jeremy Johns, John Campia, they have a personality. But let me actually search up the Batman I want to see an out of the theater. Okay, out of the theater reaction, which I should film my first one tomorrow. I should. No, why not? John Racha. I don't know what I actually gotta use the restroom. I just realized this. The Batman on. Wait a minute. Actually, I'm not gonna. I see already screen. So none of these are spoilery. But there's those videos you see, like those thumbnails where you see somebody, like you see a screen, like a movie screen. Now, none of them showed spoilers, so good thing, right there. Also, sorry for that. But, I don't want to get in trouble. But John Rocca, I've actually never seen one of his videos. Yes, 20K subscribers. Now I'm a subscriber. Actually, I don't know if that gets me copyrighted. No.
Batman
I'm not there
at a screening here. I'm not going to be allowed to talk about it until Monday at 9 a.m. So you're probably not even watching this video until Monday at 9 a.m. But I am going
this is out of the theater reaction.
Insane at how good it was. My God, an incredible film.
Did I pause it?
Pause it. We had just that Spider-Man No Way Home, and that bar was so high. And were they going to cross it? And Marvel did cross that bar and then some. And then the Batman comes out, directed by Matt Reeves with Robert Pattinson. All this pressure on it to get it right. Paul Dano doing incredible new.
Guys, I just finished a retrospective stream on Batman from 1939 to now. Oh, that's awesome, man. That's cool. That's cool. And then Andrew said I did the stream on my own. Hey, man, that's cool. It's all right, man. I just put. Oh yeah, you asked in the group chats. So I have a group chat for people that I want to put on my show anytime. That's more optional. You can just join whenever, really. I am gonna end off right now, so it's probably not a good idea to join right now. But hey, man, thanks for stopping by. Y'all go check out Andrew's channel. But yeah, we just did our Batman pregame show. We've gone over 2 hours, and we're gonna watch this out of the theater reaction, and then we're done. We're gonna end off today's show.
Crazy! It's one.
Just in 24 hours, I'm gonna watch La Batman.
One of the best Batman films. This rivals The Dark Knight. I'm going to put it on the table right now. This rivals The Dark Knight for how great of a Batman film this is. I mean, how can it be possible that we have Spider-Man No Way Home, which some might argue is the greatest Spider-Man film ever made? I know a lot of people love Into the Spider-Verse, but now we have the Batman come out, and it could rival The Dark Knight for the greatest Batman film ever made. Might even rival the greatest superhero movie ever made. I don't want to get too ahead of myself. I've only seen it once.
I'm going to say this right before we finish this stream. So, right before I finish this video. So, I don't know who this guy is. I'm going to assume he's a critic. I like his personality so far. I like him. So, I did subscribe to him. So, y'all go. So, because I am watching his video and I'm technically losing him a viewer, but after this stream is done, y'all go give him a like. Y'all go give him a subscribe. Comment on his video saying, "Hey, I came here from Multiverse of Movies," or whatever.
I'm going to see it a couple more times for sure. But man, oh man, what an experience it was! If you're into that kind of dark noir, if you're into the Seven vibe, it is absolutely a movie for you. I love the direction of Matt Reeves here. Love the cinematography. Love the use of light. Really enjoyed the performances. Overall, the performances are fantastic. I think you guys are going to absolutely love Robert Pattinson as the Batman and Bruce Wayne. There is a darkness to him. There is a pathos, a sadness, a frustration to him as he's trying to figure out what he's going to do next, who he's going to be, and what version of Batman or Bruce Wayne he's going to be. It works so well. And Jeffrey Wright doing a fantastic job as Jim Gordon as well. And Paul Dano, I think for the most part, really nails the Riddler. Once I do my more in-depth, non-spoiler review, I'll give you my thoughts overall on Paul Dano's performance in the film. But for the most part, fantastic, absolutely. And Zoe Kravitz, yet another great actress, taking on the role of Catwoman and knocking it out of the park. She certainly does that. It was phenomenal to watch her work in the film, and the chemistry with her and Robert Pattinson is almost immediate. It's electric. It works so well throughout the movie. The story itself, overall, I enjoyed as well. This exploration of the...
I don't think we need to see the whole thing. I think we're good just watching that part. He had a positive reaction. He did say some fighting words. Let's go back to the lights, because this is the last time you see me in the darkness. This is the last time we use a red light. I, of course, did it for the Batman today. And I think it's a cool light. I prefer using the purple ones because my colors are actually purple. Let's remember that. But today's stream was an awesome stream. Today's show was great. I'm glad you guys are here to join us. We had a great show tonight. It was a great pregame show for the Batman, because tomorrow, in just 24 hours, guess what I'll be watching? I'll be watching the Batman on an IMAX screen. Thank you guys for being here. And if you're new to this show, make sure you subscribe to us, but follow us on our social media platforms at Isaac the Film Geek, both on Twitter and Instagram. Link in description down below. Thank you guys for being here. Let's play one final Kenobi before we go.
In my mind's eye, Kenobi. Kenobi!
Yeah, I love that clip. I love that clip. But thank you for joining us in today's Multiverse of Movies show. Thank you for joining us in our Batman pre-game show. It was wonderful. Let me read the poll one last time. So we had 14 votes on our poll. It said, my question was, do you have your tickets ready for the Batman? 64% of you guys say yes. 36% say no. Now, tomorrow, expect an out-of-the-theater reaction for the Batman with me and my good friend Alex, who is right here on the chat. He is a member of our Multiverse Movies project that we're doing here on YouTube and Spotify now, because we are on Spotify. And if you're listening on Spotify, give us a 5-star review. Follow us with the notification bell. It would be greatly appreciated. We are trying to grow the platform on Spotify. We are going to be doing some Spotify exclusive stuff, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it for today. I hope you guys had a wonderful night, wonderful day, whatever it is. And I'll be seeing you guys next time. Peace.